Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, it's me, TruePowerIsMine, and this is TPIM SR Live. Today's date, June 9th, 2019, the year of our Lord. Before I get into the getting into's, I'd like to thank everybody last night for joining me on the show. All the great questions, all the respect that was shown the guests. That really means a lot to me, man. You know, you guys are the best crowd, the best audience around by far. All right, let's get into it. The topic of today: a real eagle never hunts a fly. And the reason why I think we all can understand what's being said there. Sister Janice, welcome to the show. Yes, it was a very interesting and respectful show last night. I was thoroughly happy. Brother Bird, what's up? I got a little dandy to break down for us today, y'all. Oh, this is a real dandy. I came across this video. I forgot how. Either it was an informant or someone sent it to me. And I thought it was outrageous. How can you have a private island that a king bequeathed to a family, and the poor saps that are on it comes with the damn island? You tell these fools who to marry, basically slavery. You know what? Let's let the video speak for itself.
Here's why this forbidden Hawaiian island is completely off limits to the public. Since 1952, the Hawaiian island of Nihao has been largely off limits.
Now, that wasn't 1852. That wasn't 1752. That was 1952.
Limits to the general public. As a result, the so-called Forbidden Island has captured the imagination of avid travelers.
Just take what they're really doing on that island straight up. Talk about make-believe in the plantation life. They could be having a bunch of rich, sick, twisted fucks fly out there. They're beating up on the natives, raping them. An eagle never hunts a fly, right? So why do we always go after the flies? Perhaps this isn't truly the eagle. Hey, what's up, Brother Murder? Welcome to the show. Let's continue this madness.
Who hope to tick the inaccessible location off their bucket lists. Upon first impressions, Nihao looks much like any other Hawaiian island. It lies over 27 kilometers southwest of the island of Kauai and is separated by a stretch of water known as the Kaulakahi Channel. The lone piece of land is 10 by 30 kilometers in size and is thought to be nearly 5 million years old.
We're talking about this island that was bequeathed to a family in 1952, and it's off limits to the public. A whole fucking island. Talk about a hub.
Geographically, Nihao sits on an extinct volcano, which had a landslide on its eastern side. Inland, there are several wetland habitats which are home to a series of native birds including the Hawaiian duck, Hawaiian stilt and the critically endangered Brighemia insignis plant. Given that it sits in the rain shadow of nearby Kauai, Nihao is largely arid, meaning water is scarce. Consequently, when Captain James Cook came across the island in 1778,
and there were already people chilling, but let's not go there.
He described it as treeless. And several droughts have been recorded on Nihao, including one in 1792. Indeed, during that time Cook's one-time junior officer George Vancouver heard of people fleeing the island in search of food. In 1864, Scotswoman Elizabeth Sinclair, born McHutchison, who owned a plantation in New Zealand, purchased Nihao from King Kamehameha V of Hawaii for $10,000.
$10,000, y'all. See, this is what I'm talking about, economic viability. These people back in the day had $10,000 by ill-gotten means, if you ask me, on the plantation and all. And they were able to buy this island. Jeffrey Epstein, after his conviction, still has an island in the Caribbean with the Greek theme, Poseidon's temple on it. We'll check that out. We're going to check out Jeffrey Epstein. So let's do some island hopping, some World War II tactics. Let's do some island hopping today.
The family would eventually establish a cattle ranch on the land, but that was far from their most important legacy on Nihao. When the family purchased the land, the king gave them some advice. He said, "Nihao is yours. But the day may come when Hawaiians are not as strong in Hawaii as they are now. When that day comes, please do what you can to help them," according to a 2002 New York Times article. In the early years, the Calvinist Sinclairs required all residents on the island to attend church on Sunday. However, given that
how's that for freedom of religion? How straight up? The family, you must go to church. Or else what? Or else we'll chop you up into small pieces and make you coconut fucking feed.
Missionaries had already converted Nihaoans to Christianity decades earlier, the rule wasn't too difficult for locals to follow. In the years that followed, Sinclair's grandson
Yes, good vibes. The playbook doesn't ever change, does it? Look at this. Just think about it. Brother Murder, Brother Good Vibes, Brother Bird, Sister Janice. We all come out of the big house, drinking our Cavassier and having cigarettes or whatever. And we're looking at the little peasants down yonder, the hill, and they're hauling up the sugar cane for us. And we're laughing and joking. This is not cool, man. And this is supposed to be the United States. None are free unless all are free. Let's continue.
Robinson developed a sugar plantation on nearby Kauai. In the meantime, he set about planting 10,000 trees on Nihao each year. And his efforts worked in increasing rainfall on the island, in turn making it more livable. And that wasn't the only way that the Robinsons preserved the island.
Yeah, they made these guys get up in their outfits, their costumes, and dance all night long. That's also an improvement. He didn't plant these trees by himself. He didn't, Brother Murder. Why do you think these guys are so fit? They don't have no gym up in them. They're up there planting trees, hoeing fields. Hopefully praying that old Mr. Calvinist don't come down for a special visit at night. You know what I'm getting at, Yao. Come on now.
They also helped maintain the native Hawaiian culture, known as kahiki. Further,
now how's that native? I mean, what the culture can never progress past fucking straw fucking skirts. That's where their culture that's the epitome of their culture. They can't evolve into spacefaring people because you certainly can't do that dancing on the stage at fucking, it looks like maybe 9 o'clock at night. Let's just continue, man.
Furthermore, Hawaiian is still widely spoken today, making Nihao one of the few places where the language is commonplace. Throughout the years, many Nihaoans have lived on farming and fishing, much like their native ancestors. And for many of them, these activities provide a source of income. However, others have found work on the Robinsons' ranch, while some rely on welfare payments and honor.
Wait, did they say is this the real Swiss family Robinsons? They really, went to the island, converted the natives here. I mean, that looks like a nice shelter. I mean, their dress. This is tragic, man. And people want to get upset and do nothing.
Of their promise to the king that they would treat the island's inhabitants well, the Robinsons ensured their workers a wage. They also gave residents of Nihao
yeah, I wonder how much do they get paid? You get a nickel a day.
Free homes. However, residents have no contractual rights, and they can be evicted from their.
They give you a Bible and a wage, but you have no contractual rights, meaning that you haven't. Whatever, man. That's fucked up. I want to hear that part again. I just the voice of this narrator kills me. How kind and compassionate, but it's really venom and poison.
King that they would treat the island's inhabitants well, the Robinsons ensured their workers a wage. They also gave residents of Nihao free homes. However, residents have no contractual rights, and they can be evicted from their houses without notice. However, while the
then they have that same housing policy in the southern plantation. They gave the slave a home. The slave had no contractual rights. And they didn't pay. Janet, sister, they didn't. They did not. By God, they're living in those houses for free. That's payment enough. We gave them a loincloth. That's payment enough. Wow. And this is supposed to be the United States of America.
Robinson family do provide locals with free meat and education for children. The infrastructure on Nihao remains basic. Indeed, there is no running water on the island and residents collect rainwater for their everyday needs. Furthermore, with no electricity lines on the island, homes are run on solar power. And while such an existence may sound primitive, Bruce Robinson, the grandson of Aubrey Robinson and co-owner of Nihao, revealed that the eco-friendly power source has proven beneficial. In 2010, Robinson elaborated on living conditions on the island in an interview with ABC. He said, "Every house has solar power. Every house has its own water system. At the time when we had hurricanes, where the rest of the islands took months to recover, Nihao took 3 days and we were back on our feet. The schools were running and everything." Motor vehicles are also fairly scarce on Nihao. Given that the island has no
free education. If you don't work on that sugarcane plantation, I bet you don't get no free education. Sister Janice, Biden said Obama was reparation, and you got to understand what Sister saying is so true. To a lot of people, that is reparations. You want to, because let's just break this shit down. The reason why people are abused or mistreated or exploited is because they are either one, losers in a war, or two, victims or prisoners of said war, meaning the second generation born after the first generation lost. The victors of said war aren't trying to hear, we're going to give you some sort of compensation for your people being defeated. That's the mindset of the folks that we're dealing with right now. All right. So was food stamps and welfare. But Brother Murder, what if everyone did not participate in that, but they were still suffering under the yoke of the common oppression and discrimination? You see, this is what we're ultimately talking about. An eagle never hunts a fly, but it seems like this eagle only hunts flies, only preys on dying and decaying carcasses. The reason why the eagle, meaning the country, is so sick is because it feeds on sickness. It feeds on exploitation. It doesn't go against healthy prey. It doesn't take down a strong country and subvert it and use its resources to strengthen itself. That's why the United States will ultimately crumble and fall, because it feeds on flies. Let's continue.
No proper roads. Residents use horses to get around. Moreover, many of them make regular trips over to Kauai, where there are more jobs, schools, and access to medical care. With this in mind, many residents consider both islands as their home. Meanwhile, when they're not working, Nihaoans like to spend time at the beach. Alternatively, they watch pre-downloaded television or films on their...
Yeah, that's a short way of saying they don't have no communication with the outside world. For God knows what's really going on in these people's minds, the ones who are too poor to get off the island to seek another wage-filled opportunity. This is such a tragedy of humanity and the potential of us all. And this is why, once again, we are collectively impoverished, because our potential is being stifled by evil, Luciferian, anti-human, death-loving fucks. All right, let's continue.
Their computers or tablets. Otherwise, Hawaiian music remains a popular part of island life, with many residents able to play the guitar or ukulele. With no stores, residents rely on a weekly barge of goods sent to Nihao from Kauai. Often it is filled with groceries.
Yeah, with no stores. You try to say McDonald's ain't trying to bop into that market? Hell, I see enough people right there to fill a store. You got to understand what we're really talking about is a legal form of redlining and segregation. These people are being forced to live in this condition on many levels. Now, they won't say it, especially the ones probably living. Oh, we love boss man. Boss man so good to us. Every Sunday he lets us get a tambourine and dance and shake our booties on stage. Yeah, boss man. Let's continue.
Bought by relatives of the island's residents, which can be shipped free of charge. However, no alcohol or tobacco makes the voyage. That's because the Robinsons have...
Stop. I'm telling you. You up in the... Okay. If they don't have no alcohol on the island, how do they do communion with the wine? I'm sure that these Calvinist folks actually use wine and not Welch's grape juice, because hell, Welch's could be a competitor. And I'm sure the big house, if you was to bust in there, you'll find a nice old bottle of scotch, probably some whiskey, wine cellar at the big house, not down there in the peasant market. Heaven knows you don't want these peasants to get drunk and have a good time. It'll be a real mess. And rum. Thank you, Brother Bird. And rum. Let's continue.
Have banned both of the substances, along with guns. Given the limited changes the family have made to the island, Nihao have...
Oh, hold on. And you all know why they banned the damn guns, right? So the Nihaoians, I like that, Nihaoians, will not be able to have any type of uprising. I'm sure there's a gun on that island, yet again, at the big house.
Has largely remained the same.
Yo, Brother Derek, welcome to the show.
Since the Robinsons first purchased it. We've tried to maintain the request of the king when it was turned over. We maintain the island for the people and continue to work it as he had, Bruce Robinson explained to ABC. When the king sold the island to the family, he said to the family, "These are now your subjects," Robinson added.
Right there. These are now your subjects. That's slave straight up talk. Now listen, this is supposed to be America, and damn it, if none are free unless all are free, we should launch a invasion of this island, liberate these people, instead of going all the way across the world trying to liberate Nihao. Liberate these people. And then, actually they really should liberate us first, but I guess baby steps. But fuck that. Liberate us first, or liberate all the people at the same time. We could do it. And let's get on with getting off this planet. I'm not sitting here looking forward to generation after generation after generation until the sun blows up. Man, we need to get on it, and we need to get on it now. Hopefully we already been on it, and we just have to have access to it, meaning spaceships.
You are to take care of them the best you can for the rest of time. And our family has continued that.
Whoa. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to shut the hell up, but I want you guys to hear it. They just talk about putting these people in slavery, perpetuation, forever. Listen, I'll shut up.
He said to the family, "These are now your subjects," Robinson added. You are to take care of them the best you can for the rest of time. And our family has continued that. It's an island that's maintained the original Hawaiian lifestyle, the kahiki lifestyle, which is traditional, back to the 1800s and earlier, and it's still alive today and it's working, Robinson continued. But it's under extreme pressure from the outside world, and
yeah, it's called evolution, you fuck. This is what I hate about this play, man, that they've been putting down on this planet. They trap people in this so-called culture and identity, and as if it never progresses. I mean, fuck, when are they going to finally start shearing sheep and making wool clothes instead of straw and shit? This isn't a culture. It's a tourism gimmick. Culture is ever changing. Culture is ever growing. When's the last time you saw someone roll up in a chariot? Well, isn't that the Italians' culture? The Egyptians' culture? Now, this foolishness needs to stop. And then we're going to hit up Jeffrey Epstein's island of sin.
We're trying to save it from that. In order to preserve the island's unique way of life, it has been off limits to the general public since 1952, when a polio epidemic struck the Hawaiian Islands. And as a result, the
You know the reason why the polio epidemic struck that island? Because polio is caused by a chemical. And I'm sure the chemical that they were treating, the pesticide, the sugarcane crop, was messing up these people. Yet again, way to go, Swiss Family Robinsons, enslavers, and subjects to the king.
Robinson's closed off Nihao, earning it the nickname Forbidden Island. Bruce Robinson explained the reasoning behind the island's shutdown. He told ABC, "My uncle wanted to protect the residents here from the epidemic, and it was forbidden to come out here unless you had a doctor's certificate, and there was a 2-week quarantine."
Hear that? If it worked there in Hawaii, it'll work in the rest of the country. Medical denial of travel. We're heading to a medical technocracy. Heaven forbid one of you peasants have some sort of virus. We can't allow you to move freely upon the land. Because really, this isn't your land, folks. That's what they're telling you. Every time you pull out your ID to jump on a plane, they're telling you that's not your airport. These are not your planes. You're just a little peasant serf trying to go from one lord's to another lord's estate to conduct their business. Man, we're going to jump to Jeffrey Epstein's because this, unfortunately, this little presentation is really upsetting me. I don't see how people can be so cool. I don't see how people can be so cool. Hold on, I just got a message. All right.
And it worked. We never got polio out here. However, even when the threat of polio subsided, Nihao remained largely inaccessible to the public. As a result, the mystery surrounding the island grew, leaving many of the general public intrigued and the Robinson family perplexed over the interest in their land. "It's just a little cattle ranch we operate in our own way," then head of the family Helen Matthew Robinson told the New York Times in 1970. "There's nothing sensational about it. I don't see why."
Man, I bet you she was out there doing a Catherine the Great with those cows. I quit it.
Everyone is so interested in it. But the interest in Nihao has failed to subside. The only people who got to experience the island for themselves were the Robinsons.
There it is. The only people who got to experience the island for themselves is the Robinsons and their little rich. I'm telling you, it was another Jeffrey Epstein situation out there. It's probably not documentable, or whatever. But I'm telling you, I know human nature. I know how these sick, twisted, sociopath types who wants to control. I want to be the leader. I want to be the king. Blah blah. How they really operate and get down.
The island's roughly 170 residents, U.S. Navy personnel and government officials. Otherwise, the chances of visiting Nihao are slim, even for the most avid traveler. "We've had a lot of requests, including people who are about to die and they have to come over and see the last place on Earth they haven't seen," Robinson revealed to ABC. Apparently, the family even turned down a visit from Mick Jagger after the Rolling Stones star asked to take a helicopter to the island. Even some of the island's closest neighbors in Kauai have never stepped foot on Nihao. To them, the patch of land is simply a familiar silhouette on the horizon. For visitors to the west of Kauai, the Forbidden Island is known only as a distinctive backdrop to the area's world-famous sunsets. However, that doesn't mean the island isn't significant to other Hawaiians. Mike Fay, who grew up on Kauai, explained the importance to ABC. He said, "Growing up as a kid, in the mornings the sun would reflect off the mountains there and it was almost like you could reach out and touch the place."
Okay, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear no more of that cheesy ass shit. Those people are being oppressed straight up. And if you don't see that, then basically you just don't give a damn. All right, let's go on to Jeffrey Epstein.
We were little girls. I started going to him when I was like 14, 15.
Oh, no.
They were recruited by someone who was adept at finding girls that would be willing to go to a house.
My life would have been different if I were.
The White House took flight. A sex trafficking ring ranging from the ages 12 to 16. These young gals were promised hundreds of dollars to be his models and masseuses. When in Epstein's evil clutches, they were then ordered to undress and were molested by Epstein and turned into prey for his rich and famous clients and friends. Several of the elite, including royal figures like Prince Andrew and creepy celebrities like Kevin Spacey and former President Bill Clinton, infamous for the...
Hold on, did they say Kevin Spacey? They must have had little boys down there as well.
Monica Lewinsky's sex scandal while he was in the White House took flights on Epstein's private jet called the Lolita Express. The Lolita Express was named after the sick book and movie by the same name about a perverted professor's desire for an underage girl, and because it was reportedly outfitted with a bed where passengers had group sex with underage girls. Court documents reveal that former President Bill Clinton took at least 26 trips on the
Wait, did he just say 26 trips? Hold on.
Took at least 26 trips on the Lolita Express. Clinton's trips on the Lolita Express often included underage girls who were part of Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Flight logs also reveal that former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton took at least one trip to Orgy Island, where several underage girls were being abused sexually.
Well, you know Hillary's not going to miss out on a good time. Now, Jesus, man. Jesus. This is just horrible. Chris Tucker even flew on the little... How much more do we have to take, brothers and sisters? How much more do we have to research and be brought to the forefront before we really get the picture, before we really see, this is not just a United States governmental problem. This is not just a European government problem. This is not just a Kemetic government problem or an Indian government. This is like in all the governments. A bunch of people seize power and they start exploiting and abusing and defiling the most innocent of us. It's really sickening.
There are sworn affidavits by Epstein's pilots that place Clinton on the Lolita Express with underage girls. It is also incredible that flight logs reveal that former President Bill Clinton ditched his Secret Service detail on at least 5 of the Lolita Express flights, presumably for his desire for more privacy. We also know from government records that Epstein actually gave $25,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Folks, it doesn't get much sicker and evil and twisted than this. It's important that we understand that there are elitists in high places that are presented as good and noble people who actually use their wealth and power as a means to turn the young and innocent into sex slaves. Law enforcement authorities who seized trash outside of one of Epstein's mansions found an invoice for the purchase of the book Slavecraft, Roadmaps for Erotic Servitude, Principles, Skills, and Tools, as well as the instructional book Training with Miss Abernathy, a workbook for erotic slaves and their owner.
Hold on, everybody. I got Dr. Short on the phone. Hold on 1 second. Let me hook up the big speaker so everybody can hear. Perfect timing. Perfect. We were just talking about the Hawaiian Islands and how they have a island out there that was sold to the Robinsons family, Nihao, and it's all off.
Your voice dropped off, so I'm not hearing you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're just now talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island of debauchery.
Yes. It's in the British Virgin Islands, or the American Virgin. It's one of the two.
I think it's St. James.
Okay. Well, I don't remember the name of the island, but I know it's down there in the Caribbean, and you know that they're going to let him off and do all sorts of stuff and keep Bill Cosby in jail after it's been found out that they destroyed evidence of obstruction of justice. That means that whore that looks like Dr. Spock with the blowout kid belongs in jail. I can't stand her, okay? I mean, a big, ugly basketball playing butch who lied and has ruined this man, ruined a lot of people who would have had careers had Mr. Cosby been able to launch a show. Yes, being an old hoe does not mean you're a rapist. But this rapist does not deserve anonymity. They need to pull that off. Epstein, they need to open all that stuff. I don't worship the president of this country, but this guy, Acosta, should be fired from the office of Secretary of Labor. He's probably all he's doing is making black people get jobs. So I have no, back in Florida. Go to the South Beach and find out who he is. Please, this guy Epstein is awful. I want them to push him.
Your phone is gargling out. Your phone was gargling out. but it's good now.
We talk about stuff. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's amazing the timing of that because I'm not moving and doing anything different. But that's okay. It's going to change phone carriers. Oh Lord help.
I'm just gonna take. I'm gonna take this Bluetooth speaker off. I'm just gonna put you on regular phone speaker. There it is. Hopefully everybody can hear still, because something's going on with the Bluetooth and that it's really gargly.
Okay, so I hope it's not gargling now.
No, it's just a little low because it's just coming from my cell phone, but that's fine. I think everybody can hear you in the chat room. So, all right. So you the last test message you sent me, it said the Methodist would be next.
It's my prediction that the Methodist Church, they've been fighting. It's been very close. You see, what's going on, a lot of people don't understand, but I saw it because I went to divinity school. Unfortunately, the people recognize that the main source of opposition to the normalization, to the Sodomite Brokeback, love is love agenda was the church. But if they could stack the churches full of gay or bisexual or bi-curious or what they call gay allies, then the churches would no longer stand on fundamental Christian, I'm talking about the Christian church principles. In fact, this goes back to the 1950s. The godfather of the gay pride movement, Alfred Kinsey, a closet pedophile gay man who was a leading sexologist to ruin this country, when they began to claim that pedophilia was rare and that pedophilia was not something that had multiple victims. They lowered the standards at seminaries and Catholic schools and universities and places across the country. And the thing is, if you are a sexual predator or deviant, you want places wherein you can have a lot of sexual potential traffic. So
Right.
You want to be a teacher, you want to be a coach, you want to be a policeman, a person that deals with the public where you can impose yourself on people. And this is what happens. By the way, with all this Me Too stuff that's been going on the last 2 or 3 years, there hasn't been one story of people being sexually harassed by a person that's same-sex attracted, with the exception of Kevin Spacey.
Well, what about Terry Crews?
Who?
Terry Crews, you know, the Old Spice commercial guy that was broke.
Oh, yeah, the black dude.
Yeah.
Right. Now, and even in his case, what's really happened? Have you seen him in any really big movies or anything? What bump did he get?
He got, looks like he got blackballed.
Yeah, well, or whiteballed.
Oh.
And that's probably his problem, is that he doesn't like white balls. So, but, you know, people need to just remember that's the price of being in some of these places. But for someone to feel comfortable enough to grab your penis in front of your wife in a public place, and now I'm sorry, I know if I bumped up against someone's behind the wrong way from the person that's down, I mean a deliberate thing to grab your stuff in front of your wife, which he knew it was his wife. He wanted to show his wife ownership of Terry Crews. And I'm not mad at Terry Crews, but in one way, my brother, I've been in jobs too, and so have you. And shoot, I want money and this, that, and the other, but there's some things I'm not going to do for it. I can't do that. You know, maybe I'd be in such a bad situation where it happened once. just theoretically put that out there, but to do it for years, I'm just telling you, I'm speaking from the heart. Okay, I'm going to give myself some weakness, but not years and years and years and years. There's a problem there. Now, I notice, like you, in a situation, I'm here in D.C. where almost everything is gay. I mean, you better learn how to get along with gay folks, because there's almost they have everything. There's everything. Okay, so I can see people having to play certain games to get somewhere, but year after year after year after year, why did you file a police complaint of assault?
Because he didn't want to probably
lose. But the better thing is that he filed a police complaint and then sued the agency, this, that, the other. He'd had more grounds for the blackballing. To try to stay in when it seems fairly obvious. If you won't wear pants with chaps with the behind hanging out that we can touch on or look at, then you can't be in the business. We've known for years that in Hollywood you have the casting couch.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you can sing, dance, act beautiful. Will you screw Mr. Mayor? Yes or no? Is he going to get it, or you not? Are you going to get cut? I think Lucille Ball never made it because Lucille Ball, as gifted as she was, probably wasn't handing out. So she's one of the biggest stars in the history of this country, but couldn't make it.
Wasn't she messing around with the Mexican guy, Ricky Ricardo?
He's Cuban. She married him. In other words, as talented and as attractive and as white as she was, she obviously wasn't putting out, so she couldn't get on the fast track.
Well, yeah, and she probably suffered racial discrimination because of being married to a Cuban.
No, she wasn't American and Cuban. He was Cuban and American.
No, I mean, the fact that she was a white woman laying with a Cuban guy probably pissed off a lot of white guys who actually could plug people into script roles.
Right. Well, I'm talking about before she met him, she was doing well before.
Oh, okay.
She's far more important. She wasn't putting it out there. Therefore, no matter how funny, no matter how, you're just never going to be allowed to make it.
Right, unless you, and like you know how they say you got to kiss the Pope's ring. When it comes to Hollywood, you got to kiss the other ring.
The Prince Albert.
Yeah, you got to kiss the Prince Albert ring. And it's sad because so many people do it, doctor, so that they can get the fame and fortune. Then they get depressed, and then they start giving all their money away to drug dealers or to some sort of guru to fix their soul.
Yeah, well, the other answer is, we come from a talented family. There's some people that sing quite well in it. But knowing the little bit I knew about music, and there are people far more talented than me, but very simple. I would have rather been a songwriter or a lyricist. I'm not having to be on stage and deal with stuff, because that's insanity. But the whole thing is being up in front of the people, and I'm not knocking the talent or the ability to push an audience. It's all wonderful, but when you start exalting yourself, or there's a price. There's something about human beings where we need praise and recognition. We have to have that. But there's a sort of praise and admiration and idolization, which is a good word I'm looking, where people almost become like gods to other folks. It's not natural. And it perverts people and it twists them. And so it's like that Sunset Boulevard movie where the woman wanted to close up on her way to jail for murder. She still needed to be worshipped, to be seen, to be the center of attention. It's quite satanic. And this is sort of, and you don't have to be that big on the screen. You could just go to a funeral. I didn't go to a funeral today of the person known to years, this was up to it. But, brother, can I tell you, go to a funeral and watch Negroes fight over this Christmas solo.
Mm. Mm.
And not fight over. I mean, everybody has to do a song and try to out sing, and almost like they're pole dancing on the casket to be the best, get the most attention off of that one encounter with this crowd. This is not healthy.
Well, because, Doctor, for most of those amateurs, the crowd at the funeral hall or whatever is probably the biggest performance audience of their lives.
Well, but they don't have to be amateurs. I think you saw the Franklin funeral.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so no, and what's the guy? The Queen of Soul. There's the chick. It's time now for the Queen of Soul, right? And everybody and Jesse and all of them had to say something, and it was painful. But I watched almost all of it. Well, I think I watched 5 hours of it. And my favorite part was the dude who talks about black on black crime that made everyone angry. I mean, I've seen that about 15 times, maybe 20. Oh, I love that. I mean, Jasper Williams. That was, I just thought all the black folks felt like truth. It was wonderful. I was just looking at the face of y'all. It's how angry they were. They had to listen to something real for a couple of minutes. I think that's I mean, it was like, I felt like the intelligent black people ruled the world for like 15 minutes. Because the dumb, stupid black people run everything most of the other time. And that's why everything is jacked up. Wicked, stupid people that are in charge of stuff.
And why is that, though? Why does it always seem like the most wickedest of us always get to the position of power?
Because it's a poison pill within another poison pill of white supremacy and sectarianism. So it's like all those dirty, no good, crooked African and Latin American and Asian despoticships that are owned by the same people. Just this is an internal colonial situation where we got the same thing. Now, speaking of that, I just was calling you, brother, because we need to talk about a couple of things. Like, I'm going to be doing dry bones, and let me see what else I'm going to do. I've got to do. I'm doing more. I want to be a queen for a few minutes, please. That's for an indulgence. I want to be like most other black people for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll go back to being a alienated, conscious, awoke, concerned black person. But I want to be a coon for a minute. May I have your permission, Grace, to be a coon for like 2 or 3 minutes and say something like how our people think. And it's kind of good being a coon. It's so ignorant. It's almost like using it high. I see why people like being coons. It's more fun than being black and aware and dealing with heavy issues. It's a great cop out, while you laid up with your 900-pound white woman who thinks that she's an Afrocentric scholar because she read the cover of the Malcolm X autobiography. Anyway, the title. And so I was going to say, I'm going on a big white radio show on Monday. So I know that's going to be good. This Monday. I just want to say that big white. I know. And, whenever, I'm telling you, I believe the black folk had a chance to collect white people's proof that would feel lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is white people. You should go get your own. Right? Now, do I have proof for this psychology? Yes. Have you ever heard the Pennsylvania Dutch, the Mennonites, and all those kind of people?
Yeah, I've heard them.
They use their own to grow stuff.
What's that?
They use their own doodle and piss to grow food.
Powering off.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, a lot of people do that type of gardening, I guess. I mean, I guess it works.
Yeah.
Been around.
Yeah, but hold on. But let me tell you something. If black people were doing the same farming and gardening using their own doo-doo and their own pee, black folks wouldn't buy it. Because white people doo-doo better than black people. That's how we are. And they have super high prices. And the black folks are lined up. Nobody's black there. And they're just so impressed by that. And they had to tell them, because you don't need to grow their tomatoes and so forth.
Well, yeah.
And she did. She tuned it out, but she went bought some. She will not. Nope. They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that exactly. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have a garden, and yes, I save. Oh, yes, I do. I save just like money. And I've got like tall tomato plants that, and I don't know what this. Tomatoes are really good when you put this in there. Real good. In fact, I haven't had like a tomato. Haven't had tomatoes grow really well in my space in like 2 years, but I still remember the tomatoes I had from way back that came out. So you look forward to them. They taste better than anything you get in the store. And homegrown or farm-grown anything. But I know a associate of mine that would shop and buy stuff from the Dutch people who use, pardon my language, they use shit. And they'll buy theirs. But they would never eat anything that comes out of my garden. I'm using this, and actually, anyone can look it up. It's safer. It's sterile, no problem. It's absolutely the best thing that you can get to a plant because it's got phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, and it's got water. And if you add additional water to it and stretch it out, it's very good for anything.
Your phone's messing up.
Huh?
Your phone was messing up. I don't know what was going on, but it was getting gargly again.
Really?
It's weird. I don't know why it. I mean, I'm assuming it's the same phone, that I always talk to you on, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Okay, what I was saying was that I have associates. I know other associates, they go and they buy the Mennonite and all these other people's stuff. And they know that they use their and all to grow the stuff. But I know one person that will get stuff that white dude is used to grow. They will buy that, swear by it. But hopefully they will never eat anything out of my garden because I use urea to cultivate the plant. So my piss is a bigger problem to them than a white person's shit in their food.
I mean, would it help maybe in marketing if you would market it as, no artificial ingredients, all natural, and just omit the fact that it's piss?
Actually, my brother, even if that weren't the case, and it's not so much that I'm marketing, I don't care if they get it. In fact, I'm going to tell them everything I have is in it so they won't ask me anything. Don't ask me what's on this piss and that too. Yeah, it's just for my apple juice. Now don't ask me for nothing. Now, my point is that if they know that there's doo-doo in the white people, I'm just trying to get to your mindset as black people that even white people's doo-doo and waste is better than black folks.
Yeah, that's it.
We are sick. We're sick people. We don't want to get better, and it constantly plays out. And forgive me, I enjoy scatology because it really gets under black people's skin to talk to them. But it's interesting. A lot of black folks eat Asian food. They just love Chinese food, Chinese that, Asian this, and they don't know that the Chinese feed the fish, pig doo-doo.
Tilapia
fish and all the fish that you get at a discount stores, if it's from Chinese, it's the chicken doo-doo, pig doo-doo.
Oh,
and all the vegetables and stuff that you, they use, and they do, the Chinese, they some nasty people, man. It's nasty. It's, but as long as it's not black.
Then you're saying that we go to it.
Exactly. No matter how filthy or dirty it is. I know folks who go to these greasy spoon, nasty Asiatic places. I mean, where the glass is browner than Beyonce from Greece, and they'll still go in there and buy stuff.
I mean, it goes back to the white man's ice is colder type mentality.
Well, I don't even care if it's that. The fundamentals, but they're not white. Chinese aren't white. They do it for the Indians too. They're not white. We hate ourselves so much until we can't move forward. And I'm telling you this because the situation's at hand that we're going to see, and it's going to be very, very, very painful. And we're going to see like a die-off in black people. Not that we're going to die completely.
Right.
For example, I just completed my first week of our summer youth employment program in D.C. And this little smart mouth sister, anyway, she told me what I already knew, that this city of D.C., these cool, sellout, no good niggas that run the city, allow folks to give Depo-Provera to underage black girls.
Wow.
That will sterilize them, give them breast cancer, and there's nobody I can think to go to and they're just gonna. And you know what? It's black women doing it, sisters. It's black women killing other black women.
So it's Tuskegee Experiment 2.0.
No, it's not Tuskegee.
Well, it was black folks that gave them the injections.
Yeah, black folks not only gave the injections, but black folks made certain that the people never knew. They made certain that it continued when the white people were ready to cut it off. They kept the white folks doing it to black people.
Because they need to make that money. They need to make that good money.
They weren't really making money. That's a myth that these people need money to hate our guts.
No, I'm talking about the black folks that was administering the program needed to stay in the positions of work. So they need that program to continue.
You're not understanding it. You're assuming that black folks need cash to hate and kill one another.
Right.
You're wrong. The director of the Tuskegee Project was paid $1 a year.
No way.
I can't get my penis sucked by a crackhead for that.
$1. What is the damn deal with these people on the $1 and fucking over people?
$1. And the person who got the $1 a year was Dr. Dibble, who's the father-in-law of Ann Dibble, who's the wife of Vernon Jordan. Now you see why the Tuskegee people, when they did this stuff back when Bill Clinton was president, everybody had to come and meet that White House. They didn't really get deep into it. They didn't really do any strong investigation that was handled then, because Vernon Jordan was looking out for his father-in-law, who took $1 a year and a franking privilege to help kill those people.
Wow.
I've got the document. Don't believe me. Anybody want that? You can get it. You can pay 25 cents a page. You call the CDC. Tell them that you want some information on the Tuskegee Project. Tell them that you want letters on Dr. Dibble and the CDC, not CDC, the millions. And until we get angry with them and start victimizing them, ostracizing them, not letting them be your preachers or your entertainers or your musicians. So these sisters will get breast cancer, osteoporosis, sudden death, suicide. All this is going to result. It was done to them at the hands of black women who know better, and sometimes black men too. And if you say anything about it, because I've been through this before, I got told I hated birth control and I need to let women exercise their options. So you went to get cancer, that's an option. And trust me, there's a dumbass black dude out there who needs to be put in the ring and beaten up by a bunch of sisters. I have a real issue with black women these days. They don't hold each other accountable. So when I see black women destroying black women, you're told, well, that's women's rights. You mean a woman can destroy a woman's fertility in her life, and that's okay. If a man and a woman have a tussle, you want him to go to jail for life because he hit her back. This, in a sense, feminism is killing us.
Wow.
So these sisters, I notice them all over town. These big young women weigh 300-400 pounds. They're in scooters. They know all about it. They're killing for all over the country. And what can we do? And you know what? That silly ass Kamala Harris is crying over that Mexican girl. And if you look at the picture, I had one of my sons have to look at it again. They swear up and down that those people that we see face down in the river, that the man had a plastic bag over his head, that it was a cartel hit. I didn't see a plastic bag, but if it is or it's not, my issue is that's reckless endangerment of a minor.
Yes.
To get in the river, that's manslaughter. So he deserved to die for his daughter in there like that.
Damn.
You can't swim. No flotational. I mean, you know how to make a piñata. You know how to make a lot of stuff. You know how to float stuff across the river to put some weed to keep it dry. You didn't think of something for your daughter? That's your daughter. They say it's his daughter. I need to see the DNA to prove. I don't believe it's his daughter. You got to show me, prove to me. Folks don't believe, black folks are civilization. Folks don't believe Jesus Christ is black. Folks don't believe Christmas Adams is black. Right?
Right.
So I don't believe it. I don't believe anything. Show me, prove to me. Prove to me it's the river. Okay. I don't believe that. So that's one thing. I mean, nobody cared about the white dude that was ready to mow down a black family over a 99-cent Barbie. But someone comes to the country legally with an abusive father section. That's what she does. What you want to see. Whatever. Because they're very kinky in those families. It's true. You know it's true.
Yes, it's true.
They got pedophilia. They got pedophilia off the chain. These people make black folks need to be beatified in one of these big churches. I mean, and I don't think black folks are holy, but some of these foreigners come up with, they're so nasty. Oh my God. I mean, they may bring Freaknik back with some mariachi music. It's nasty.
Freaknik with mariachi music. Oh my God. Dr. Short sounds different for some reason. Was the audio bad out there? Or can you hear him? Or because I had to use it, I'm not using my big speaker. I know they should be able to hear you. Because they were saying that the doctor is on point, Sister Janice. So, what do you think, Doctor, that the black man and woman and child in the United States of America, what can we do to better our experience?
Well, that's super broad, but I'll tell you, there's small things that we can do that would mean a lot. Like, how about, one thing that people could do is, and this will blow your mind, and I took a group of students down to the National Archives Friday. I know they didn't want to go because, there was no strippers or weed. and strobe lights. It's amazing for black people. It's got to be filthy and pornographic to get their attention. We're so carnal and doubly minded. So let me just add this. One thing that black folks can do immediately is learn that there is such a thing as God that created the universe, and there are rules and principles that you have to learn and follow, and it works. Everything else can fall behind that, like how you treat the next person, respect yourself, respect elders, don't steal, get some commandments and principles where, as a collective, we're unprincipled towards one another as a group. I'm not talking about any individualism, but maybe that's great people. Everything they said it's supposed to do. But we have grossly unprincipled, unethical people. They're very religious, but they're not spiritual. Or should I say they have religion, but they don't have a faith. Now, back to the National Archives. Once we got in there, first of all, I had to shut a young brother down. He was a good person, but they were treating the young people coming into this building like they were crooks because they're black. I said something to him, and he told me, well, it doesn't bother me. I said, that's bullshit. It has to bother you because it bothers me. And it doesn't happen to me all the time. It happens sometimes. I said, in fact, it bothers you. That's why Negroes have hypertension, have stroke, heart attack, and all other kinds of things, all the while saying, in fact, if it doesn't bother you, you should be ashamed. And because you're not mad, it happens to anybody. Like you're so important. So if it doesn't offend you that black folks are treated subhuman, it doesn't, right?
It should offend us all. That should be offensive to all people.
Yeah, well, a lot of our folks are selfish, and I told them that was a selfish way to look at it, because I said there's a thin line between the person that makes you feel unwelcome in this building and the cop that shoots you 20 times because he was afraid. It's the same thing. It's just degrees. So they're afraid of you. Once they put your stuff to the metal detector, you don't have any weapons. They're scared of you coming to do something benign. That's the same thing if that guy has a cop and he shoots you 20 times.
Right.
You never sanctify the conditions for you to be violated or someone like you. That's a coward. That's the chump's way to look at stuff. And that's the way most black folks are chumps. And are intellectually coward, which is cowardly. The worst cowardice of all. It's one thing if you're afraid of violence, blunt force, trauma, but it's intellectually cowardice when you won't even look. You don't present any information to me. Do not try to make me think. I'm not going to use my mind.
I have a right to be ignorant.
A lot of black folks use their mind like a nun use their coochie. Almost never, Even if a couple priests want to be up in there, well, maybe they may share with the nun, but then you won't know about that. So like black folks will think, but they won't let you know. Y'all just still got bones, right? So anyway, we got in there, and it worked out. One guy, the one who's giving me all the problems, who looks like SpongeBob with bifocals, I was wanting to fire him. One thing he learned is that you don't know anybody in your own damn family. We're talking about your grandmother's name. I'm sorry. Well, you know one grandmother. Mind you, you got, in reality, let me see, you got your father and mother. And father, okay. So you got 4. And the next generation, you have 8. Because right? The number keeps going up the further back you go. And it's always amazing me saw these people, young black folks, they don't even know their grandparents' name, their father's name, their mother's. This is a mystery.
Yeah.
And Negro running around with the Islamic kufi on. And his people, they're all into Egypt, pyramids and stuff, and have never heard of Mississippi. I just thought that's how you count down when you play touch football. You didn't know it's a state. and it's amazing. I mean, I'm telling you, black folks so dumb, they get mad. Do not tell me it's stupid that I don't know the 50 states in the country I live in. That is dumb. It's stupid. Stupidity can't be normalized like this. And that's how they rule us, by us being so damn dumb. And we don't like anyone that thinks.
No, we make fun of
'Cause
thinkers.
That I may be uncomfortable. I don't want dude had to break down and realize he had never gotten the name, never seen a picture of his grandfather, one of his grandfathers in his life, until we went in the archives the other day. Turned out his father was a king from Samoa.
Wow.
Never bothered to check. I don't blame him. His parents, who are both dead, so I can't kick them in the behind. What kind of people don't even know one gen? We're not talking. What's this scam about folks worried about Egypt 5,000 years ago, and you don't know your great grandparents? And we're talking about after Jim Crow, so they're not slaves. So you don't have to pretend that everything's been wonderful and hunky dory. What kind of people allow this kind of stupidity to be the norm?
The type of people who understand how to rule others.
No, but I'm talking about colored folks.
Oh.
People that didn't know. I don't know whether my grandmother had a sister or not.
Oh, I know that. The answer to that, doctor, is prisoners of war.
Yeah, but also prisoners of whores. Whores to the system. Okay? Black folks who facilitate their oppression by dumbing down their own kids. The same way that movie that stupid Oprah made called Beloved, and they ain't nothing about her lovable and she don't love us. Where the woman, it's based on a woman back in Ohio who was being returned to slavery. She killed all of her children so they wouldn't be raised as slaves. We're very good at killing our young people, aborting them and abusing them once they're born. Neglecting them. This real basic stuff, like your grandmother is, your grandfather, just zero. In fact, one of my cousins that can't stand me had lied and told her daughter she was a product of a rape.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. I was raped. And by the way, well, life is kind of interesting. She's like, and told her, don't talk this short. Randy, he's crazy. He talks too much. He don't. I never bothered this kid. I never did anything to them. One day they called me and said, you treat me differently from other people. I says, really? I've always been kind to you. I've never insulted you. He says, that's just it. You always, for me, you're so controlled. Everything is, you never say any. It's like you think about everything you say. So this is, I don't like that. This is, well, I haven't done anything to you. She says, yes, you always hold back. You never.
And that's
you
enough.
Don't talk to me. You're very. I mean, I see you. You're like open. I mean, you're warm to me, but you like you. Well, anyway. So I said, you know what? I'm sick of this. I said, you know what? I want to ask you, what is it that you think? And she said, oh, okay. We went back and forth. She said, look, well, yeah, I'll tell you what it is when you tell me what they said to you about me. Because I don't talk to anyone about you at all. So I was told all this crazy stuff. This was all like preemptive strike stuff from a guilty black woman who had done something when they were young. And someone that knew the truth had to be made into some kind of a monster to cover for the fact that they would not keep their legs closed. Right? This is one of the big problems with putting families and people together is pride and a phoniness. See, we'll talk about the dogs, these guys who are just sperm donating, Johnny Appleseed with sagging pants. But, so I basically said to her, I'm sick of this because I've been very good. I don't bother anyone. But you know what? Since you said that about me, I'm going to help you. First and foremost, your mom's a liar. Your mom was never raped. Your mom forced it on the dude. I know him real well. Okay, you look just like him. And you're into chemistry, and your father was a pharmacist, and so was his mother. Science runs in your family. I said, your mother wanted an abortion. They got around to it too late. So what they did was they smoked the whole carton of cigarettes, like 2 or 3 cartons of cigarettes, to try to choke you out. It didn't work, but your lips were black like a tire when you were born from her smoking.
Wow.
I dare her to call and rebut me because I was there.
Wow.
Okay, that's the real story. Okay, you were a beautiful kid. Your mom chased this dude. In fact, your mom was hoeing at a Christian camp. My father tried to keep her from being on the staff. Your grandmother bullied it, and that's how you got here. It was not rape. I know living eyewitnesses that saw her sneak into his tent after midnight back in the 70s. That's real talk. Rape would have been him being on top of her with the towel over her mouth, but her coming to see him, fondling him in front of people, refusing to back off when dude was engaged. So, no. And by the way, this is what's going on. There are a lot of liars in our community. Some of them wear dresses. Yes, I'm sticking to the system today. Mothers convey identity to children. These sisters have dropped the ball. They're too busy getting their nails and their feet done and getting tattoos. And the kids don't even know who their father is. Or basically, it's like Twister. Remember the game you played? You spin the thing and you try to put your hand on it, right? You don't know. I mean, what you make is sperm milkshake after the Coco show. Right, you don't know which of the pack that went on was the dad. And even Mari Povich says, no, that's bad for ratings. We'll never find him with you. No, sorry, turn you down. Mari won't even take your case. You're such a slut back in the day. And these kids come around and they don't know anything. And you know what? In order to protect the scandal of the low-life mother, you have to twist all the morals and things around to defend these bullshit systems. And I know this from working with you. So I remember a young kid, I was working with Big Brother, and he asked me why I didn't have children. And I told him I'm not married. And the kid started crying. My mother's not married. You know what? And what was he doing? He was protecting his mother's harlotry.
Right.
He felt, I never said a thing about his mom. He immediately got it. Oh, you mean people supposed to be married with? Well, my mom did something wrong.
Right. She did.
But the anger came at me. So then we end up having a bastard world as a black people, where everything has to suit the bastard, protecting the bastard's pride, and the dog and the tramp that made them. Okay, I'm not angry at the child that came here. That's not my issue. My issue is the adults who never grow up other than knowing that they can ejaculate or, can kick a baby out of their cooch every so many months. And so these people are ashamed of what they did, or they want to pretend it didn't happen. So all of a sudden, and tell you, the biggest liars in the world are black family members.
Why?
They lie worse than white people. Yes, they do. Niggas' families lie. And this is why we can't move forward. You want to see some lies? Start doing genealogy and you can't find, just everything is disappeared. You thought that the person's name was Pat and the name is Pretorius. And you never knew the person's name. It was never mentioned. It's nothing. You're trying to find Pat, and it's none. And you realize that you never. You got folks who's my name is Tick Dick. Tick Dick. Oh, you mean Uncle Tick Dick? And they can't find the Tick Dick. Oh, you mean Theodore Darrell Sims? Who? This is how we deal, where nothing is serious, nothing matters, names don't matter, lineage doesn't matter,
It does.
Roots don't matter. Yeah, it does screw this up and put it here. They're all in these places looking up, doing lineages, even exaggerating, lying about stuff, right? And put themselves in certain families that don't belong. But
Elizabeth
we raise
Warren.
kids where your name doesn't matter, your father doesn't matter, your grandfather, your grandmother, your roots. If nothing matters, why do we mind that these kids shoot and kill and are in K2 and are committing suicide, smoking all kinds of stuff and dying? Because nobody bothered to convey a sense of identity to them. And this is being done, sorry ladies, mostly by black women in the country. This is y'all crime on the family, y'all. It's a crime. It is not privacy. It's not a private matter. Birth is a public event. So is a wedding. That's why they're records and they're in the state. You know, what's a secret who they were married to. So I'm serious. I met people you can't know anything about. So, well, wait a minute. How is someone supposed to think if they're not supposed to? And this is where black people have power. We use it for degeneracy and self-destruction. A lot of folks need to rebel against the bullshit in their family. If your mama was a hoe or your dad was a hoe, face up to it. Find out if you have sisters and brothers. Maybe they're not afraid you're coming to get the house that they own. We need to know that we exist. I got this garbage in my family. My great uncle was tricked by a young woman that he liked, who turned out to be his niece, that he didn't know was his niece. And she knew he was her uncle. She didn't care. I'm going to screw that old dude. I'm going to kill him.
Oh, girl.
Ride that horse. I'm going to take down that person. I don't care. No, right? Oh, yes, this is real story. And she wanted them. Nice looking man. Good military. I'm going to bone this dude. And by the way, don't think this young folks aren't predators on older people. I can't stand pedophiles, but there's some younger people. My God, they have no regard. They have no regard for being of age. They'll go after the older person
because they're going after that money.
I know folks. No, not always money. Maybe it's a couple of inches. Maybe I like the person with the beard. Maybe I like a person with a deeper voice. Maybe I like white hair. I think it's cute. I'm advanced. I'm screwing some of the net 50s, not 15. So that dude came off his walker after he got mine, right? Shoot. And he's a vet. The VA's gonna kill him. I'm gonna get all his money. Then I'll start another family.
Right.
I mean, sisters be very advanced with this. I mean, this is just calculated.
You remember that day we were talking about if we want the brothers to revolute, all you gotta do is make a law to not get no pussy, right? Well, if you want the sisters to throw a revolution, make DNA mandatory for all the children. Women will be going nuts. What?
Yes, they would go nuts because, you know,
the lies will come out.
Church. Yeah, especially the ones in church. You know, ones that be singing, what's that song? If I can, it should be if I can help somebody, my living won't be in vain. Because they ain't help nobody.
Help somebody.
Yeah, I know your chat room. I'm gonna get stoned by these feminists. They're gonna come and get me. We're tired of his resistance. Yes, DNA should be required. I certainly would have all my kids tested, all of them. In fact, I would test a woman to make sure she doesn't have a twin sister subbing for her.
But you see, that's what I'm talking about. We have gone past what happened to trust and honesty. You know, sort of like a kung fu movie. You know, you have a certain set of rules you're going to live by, you're going to die by. We don't have that.
Well, we could get that, but the thing is, just test from the get-go. A test of love, get an AIDS test. Sisters, you need to have some doctor look up the devil's butthole, make sure that you can't park a car in there. You know, that's it, you know. You can have a problem.
But see, once you start talking like that, doctor, then you really get into people's emotions. Oh, you don't trust me? You think I'm some sort of whore? And your response is basically, yeah, I think you're a fucking whore.
Yes. If you wouldn't do it for me, you probably are. You know, by the way, I will encourage people, all the brothers, we need to get these colorectal exams. I just sent my sampling the other day. I mean, they showed me one where it was too complicated. So I just, did it myself, and sent it off. So I'm gonna find out if I have good colon health. I think I do.
Hey, if it's really good, you could probably be a donor for the fecal transplant program, doctor.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm wondering, do they have like a union plan? Can you imagine the shit workers union?
Shit workers union. I'm with you.
I didn't know y'all had this. We've had this since 1619.
Shit. Oh shit. That's messed up.
Okay.
Don't give the government no idea.
These brothers, the young people found out, one of them traced their grandmother all the way back to about just around the Civil War.
Oh,
Her
wow.
great-great-great-grandmother had never seen this stuff before. This other guy who found out his great-great-grandfather was a king from Samoa. He was able to find all this other stuff. The attitude, these young folk got into this history thing because it was real.
Right.
That's the birth certificate of my grandmother, born in 1850 or 1860 or 1870. Damn. That's my mother's great-grandmother.
Wow.
The birthday. And no, this sister was into it. She just sent me a message. So we're going to go back in there. And yeah, I have to go in and help this brother I started. And I need to work on this one particular brother's tree. I'm going to get back on it. And we're going to work it. We're going to work it. In fact, if I find a couple young people here, I'm going to work to see, because there are no black private genealogical research companies. There's all this stuff that's free to walk in. You can pull stuff. And if I find some young folks, we're going to run this thing and get paid. But we need to know who we are. You need to know who God is. You need to know who you are. You need to know your parents. Whether you like them or not, you need to know them. In fact, let me share with you what knocked this dude upside the head with the Samoan great-grandfather.
Okay.
When he found out he was an actor and he was in movies in the 50s and 60s, and he says, but they say the movies he's in, he went and looked him up, he says he's not in the credits. Why isn't he in the credits? I said, because of racism, jackass. All you young folks tell me Obama solved every damn thing. Y'all think it's a joke. They didn't count him because he's not white. The same way you're not counted when you come in this building. And it was silent. Y'all keep acting like we making this stuff up to scare or to impress or to I don't know what they think we're doing when we're telling them about what's really happening, what's really going on. The way they just dismiss it all like, I don't want to hear that until you get shot by a cop. Oh, it's too late. Because nowadays they shoot you 20, 30 times, so we never get to have a debriefer about what did you learn after the cop shot you after calling you nigger.
Can't talk to the dead.
So, yeah. Well, not unless you're Hillary Clinton. Okay. Anyway, then it hit them that they didn't count black people, then it didn't matter. Nothing mattered then. That's why you don't know. That's why things don't matter.
Of course, it didn't matter back then.
I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm trying to get you to open your damn slanted eyes, fool. This stuff is serious. It's really serious. And it plays out today because now, if you find out, you can't show people that your grandfather was in the film.
Damn.
They'll say, well, his name isn't on here. Well, maybe he was an extra or a big player, or maybe he was a best boy, or maybe he was cleaning the porta johns, but I don't see his name on that list, right? And see how we are? We won't factor racism into reality, so we'll say, well, the name is there. He must have not been in the picture. As if everything's okay. Oh my God, Negroes in denial. It's sick. Face up to the fact that people hate your guts completely. And a lot of them look just like you, and they're not going to stop.
They're not going to stop.
Money's a tool. It's not a god. In fact, if you have morals, you can treat your money like your private parts. Be very, very, very decisive in who gets it. I won't use that example with black people because we'll be broke again. We may not even get the money.
Well, I had a conversation, really weird conversation. We talked to Kat offline, and it was about the reparation thing, and it kind of broke it down like this: if reparations, if reparations because people were basically they lost the war, they were victims of warfare and they lost. Instead of dying, they went into slavery or whatever the situation. The problem is now you're trying to ask the victors of the war to pay you restitutions for the sorrow and pain. And after he said that, it just made me like, well, most people really don't look at it like that. They look at it, I don't know how we can't, because maybe we're never told. But damn, that is so true. I mean, how do you expect the victor of the war to give you reparations?
Well, because you're using a poor historical analysis for it. Black people, 7.75 million black people served the Union war effort. We made the damn victory possible. Even more reason to pay us.
So it's like the Second War was fought and we didn't get compensated for it. Like we lost the first war, went to slavery. We won the Civil War, came out of slavery, but we didn't get compensated for that. Other than you're just free, boy.
No, but we weren't free because they immediately went to black codes. They did all the stuff to re-enslave us. So no, we didn't even get what they said we would get that we earned.
The 20 acres and a meal?
40.
Oh, yeah, 40 acres. My bad. So,
but there are other things. In fact, let me just share with you. I was in, and I was amazed. I ran into a branch of my family in the 1860 census in Washington, D.C. 1860. If you're in the census, you understand that means my folks weren't slaves on my mother's side.
Right.
Right, and I ran across the 1870 census for my great grandfather's thing, and there are others, right?
Yeah.
Even if, my friend, my folks weren't slaves and were high yellow people, I've been very embarrassed this last 2 weeks in the archives.
Why?
Seeing people passing for whites and other stuff, which is really shameful to me. Because it's like the folks in my family were scamming to make it. I've always tried to understand how they got so much property as black people, but I just learned there's a branch of the family that passed for white, went to real estate, and that's how they got all that stuff. And my mind's blown. But they would call themselves white.
But see how the family used all that for the family's benefit? Lighter part of the family helped the darker part of the family to make you.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not mad. I'm only saying to you, even as free black people, free people of color, they were suffering prior to 1865 because they weren't white.
Right.
It's another reason for reparation. So these are black folks free who are doing stuff, owning stuff, and still being inhibited. Meaning, I'm not one of these people where ADOS, I don't necessarily like that I told you, because I know on certain parts of my family, people were not slaves. I'm talking about in 1840.
20 years before the war.
1780, 1790, not slaves.
But, when you go that far back, you're talking about potentially 16 people to make you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My point I'm making is that still, even if they weren't enslaved, they got cheated because of stuff. They should think about it. If they had been able, as free people, to do whatever they needed to do or whatever they wanted to do, they would have acquired a lot of stuff in this period of time. But in reality, they've been running in place because they're not white.
So how long do you think it would take for every black person in the United States to get, the National Archive research done?
See, when you think about it, we're all related to each other. It doesn't take that much. If 10% of the black folks, if 5% of the black people, if 1% of the black people in the country got really deep into this, it would pull the whole freaking country together. Because a family can't comprise of one person. So if 1%, that 1% is connected to the other 99%. Now, not everybody wants to be involved or connected. Good. Let them die. Let the Klan get them. We've got too much, as I said, we have too many wastrel black people that don't give a damn. Who cares? You don't care. You want something for nothing. We struggle and you come and get the blueberries later. No. I'm with Henny Penny. You didn't help me plant it, weed it, harvest it, and you get cornbread too? You know who has that mindset? You know who has that mindset of our no good, trifling user, get over black people? You know what that's a carbon copy of?
What?
White supremacists who expect everything without giving nothing, and we have to crush that in our community. You aren't gonna pull some white privilege rank, and you a nigga? Let us back up. You get where I'm coming from?
Yes.
So, look, it's like this. One person. If I were to look at the branch of the family I got to dig into, I got two last names very easy. I've worked on multiple branches of the family. Each family has a minimum of 500 people in it. You get where I'm coming from?
Man, that's a lot.
That each one. I mean, the one here probably has 2,000 or 3,000 people in it, right?
Right.
And the other one has a few thousand people in it. Do you realize if a couple people start doing happy trees and then put some money on it, the Mormons do it. The Mormons pull all the white people together. The Mormons can help you put anything together. And you don't have to just use the You don't have to just use the National Archives. You use Family Search through the Mormons. But why isn't there something? Why haven't one of these nigger churches that have all this money with these crooked preachers with boa constrictor shoes on put together something to save the black family?
Because the price of chicken and Cadillacs have gone up, Doctor.
No, they don't eat chicken. Those people have Cornish hens and lobster tail. Okay, and they're in the Maseratis and stuff. A Cadillac, shoot, that's for homeless people. They'll let you live in their old Cadillac, but they won't help you in the church.
I got a question from the chat room. From Sister Alexandra. Ask Doctor, when Trump wins, what does he see happening? Because Trump most likely will win again.
When Trump wins again, first and foremost, I'm going to be on the floor laughing, watching all the people cry at the Democratic Party thing, because I hate the Democratic Party. One thing that will happen if Trump gets reelected is I know black folks across the country are going to be on full alert. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Finally, the black people who are awake are going to get an opportunity to deal with our dull brain, lazy, do nothing, ass backward brothers and sisters who hold us back by choice. Same ones that get to work on time for white people. You have some for black folks that show up 3 hours late. They make the repast for funerals, but they don't actually, I want to see the body. That may upset my stomach. So they come to the repast so they can eat, but they don't want to see the person. Wow. Anyway, if Trump wins, and I think he will, it's going to really upset a lot of people. To which, in particular, the people that I see being destroyed, that I want to see punished, will be the black Democratic Party establishment will be blamed for the loss. And they will take jobs and things, and they will screw over people like Cory Booker, Maxine Waters, John Lewis, a lot of these people are going to be blamed for the defeat. A lot of you, if you didn't live in the 70s, you don't recall that black people were blamed for the Democrats. Each time the Democrats lost, from 1968 onwards, black people were blamed as the reason that the Democrats lost. For one reason or the other, it was black people's fault. Now, in 2016, they've not wanted to acknowledge it out of their pride and their arrogance that they didn't need black people anymore. The Democrats won't say black people gave Trump the election, either by staying home or a significant number of people taking the Samson option, which is let's knock the whole damn thing down. Since I can't be free, fuck this thing, make all the stuff fall down on everybody then. Which is, and I like the Samson option. And yes, I'm voting for Trump all over again. Make this thing fall down. Either he's going to do what he said he's going to do, or he's going to fail. The good thing about Trump, he throws rocks at everybody. Mexicans, Asians, Arabs. He throws rocks at everyone. Everyone's catching the hell that black folks got.
Except for white
8 years
nationalists.
of Obama.
He don't throw rocks at white
okay.
nationalists.
He doesn't throw rocks at white nationalists, but you know what? He certainly encourages black folks to buy guns, and that's the best rock that you need. More black folks need gun clubs. I mean, where's the Black American Rifle Association?
Well, hold on now. I did try to reach out to a black gun club, but after him viewing our show, now this was way back in the beginning, he's like, I'm not coming on that show. It looks like something someone threw together. And, you know, he just came up with this really arrogant attitude.
No. I'll introduce you to somebody that has a gun group. Just, don't let one,
Right.
One black nationalist doesn't stop a white supremacist show. You know what I just did with that.
Yeah.
And that's basically a good example. Back to the sister. The Democratic Party will be destroyed nationally, which is beautiful. My motto is the Democrats must die so black people can live. Black people will be forced to start planning because 4 years of Trump's going to look out for who he looks out for. Some black folks are also, the torch will be snatched. We're going to mug these old baby boomer niggas and take the damn torch if we have to kick their ass and take it from them because they're not going to pass it. A lot of things are going to happen. The same way black people are talking about tangible reparations, this would have never happened under Hillary Clinton. Never. Once Trump wins, all the black people that are conservative, that are coons, that don't speak up and they don't do any better. In fact, they're worse than the black Democrats because I know both sides. Black folks are going to be angry as hell at this game. And just maybe black folks will give up on electoral politics at long last and turn inwards towards having a self-reparation, self-reparative justice program. Okay, I pulled my guy from East St. Louis, and we're working with youth in the summer. We are not paid to do so, although we need money. We did our first week. We have 5 more weeks, and I think I've already helped turn 2 lives around in the first week. Unfunded with no budget. I believe in investing and giving as best I can with what limited resources I have as a person to people who are black. We have 2 companies. We're pursuing grants. If we can get things to work the way that we want, like for instance, brother, you're a contractor. We're going to start talking to these other people, ex-convicts and others, about how we can go after government HUD monies. I can actually bring you in, even though I don't know how to lay a brick other than throw one. Okay? We have to begin to look at what we can do to save ourselves. So that sister who you need to have on your show, Dr. Dawson, we're going to start talking to people locally, in fact, about land. We got a couple of acres. I have cousins with about 6 acres of land. I want to talk to them and ask them if we can come out and throw stuff out there. white people, why can't we do it for one another? So back to the sister. If Trump wins, I do know that I think the economy at some point will crash. And I don't know when, but it will. I also think that there are going to be a lot of people who commit suicide if Trump wins again.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that were counting on being able to have sex with children and all this other stuff. And this Trump thing completely threw a monkey wrench in their agenda. I mean, there are a lot of people who are in this country unlawfully. They're going to want to go home.
Yeah,
you don't belong here. You don't belong here. And I think it's a disgrace when you have a presidential debate in the United States and people have to speak in Spanish. You couldn't go up there and speak in black colloquialisms and not be
Swahili. Go up there and speak in Swahili.
Right. The other thing is they're all after Cruella de Vil, the mulatto Cruella de Vil. Kamala Harris halfway said something about busing, and that she sticks to that damn Equality Act on the butt tag that she's going to vote for, making gays and black. I mean, everybody's attacking Kamala. He's even halfway black, articulate, speaking in English about an issue. They attack you, but you can't speak in Spanish to people in the country. Not speak English. Well, clearly you're illegally if you don't know. You don't know how to speak English. You're clearly in this country wrong.
Well, yeah, or else if you can't speak English, either you're here illegally, like you said, or you could be somewhat mentally retarded or, some sort of mental defense.
I mean, in fact, I don't care if you got a citizenship. If you don't know, anywhere in the world I've gone, I've needed to either have an interpreter or I learn the language, okay?
Right.
Or else be damned. The reason that they facilitate the Spanish was to punish people who speak in English who are black. I'm insulted. I will never vote for Cory Booker. And I think that's the picture of him with the white Jewish dude humping on his back.
No, you didn't.
You want me to send it to you?
I mean, you can't. I mean, just for the record, for the listeners, the new ones that don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but Cory Booker is a homosexual male, is he not?
I didn't think he was a homosexual.
Hold on, we can't hear you.
I didn't say he was that at all, but he tries really hard. So he is a promosexual.
A promosexual. With...
Yeah, you're promoting it. To me, I consider that as bad as being one and one. In fact, there are people who have an issue of sexuality that say, this is really off that I'm in the news. I should like women. I would like to read this. That is on one level. I mean, what can I do? I'm not mad at this brother, okay? But for a person to say, oh, this is wonderful, this is good, this is so great. Wow, yes, ass is the new pussy, gay is the new black. No, I'm tired of that. So I think Cory Booker is rumors abound. In fact, and he's really tight to John Wood.
I got another question from Sister Alexandra. So is the black agenda gone? Should we move away from reparations? Hold on, you're really low. I don't know what's going on.
My phone is all the way up.
Okay, now I can hear you.
No, we should get reparations, but we need to do some groundwork to make certain that we can get it. If you've got I'm a football coach and Curious George with Down syndrome, aka Danny Glover, speaking for you, you're in trouble. Sister, I work with both guys, and all those niggas up there saying they don't want to check. Did we elect them? We didn't have them speak for us. I want to check. In fact, I want two for my daddy that's not living and my brother. So no, you can make it rain on me. They can print money for terrorists in the Middle East and for insurgents in Central America and South America and Africa. You can cut me a damn reparations check.
and it should at least have 6 zeros behind it. I'm very serious about that. $50,000 won't do. Like my friend, Dorothy Love Coates, 99 and a half. 50,000 won't do. In fact, forgive student loans. We need to have, the problem with our people is we have not, Sister Alexandra, the right cadre of our people have not come together with the single-mindedness to get these things. Student loan forgiveness, all this stuff. Africans and immigrant folks not being able to get affirmative action stuff set aside for black people, where they'd have to compete with white folks. Those folks wouldn't come over here anymore. The only way they could come here is through us. We have to look at demanding societal, constitutional, and other changes on our terms. But that would require that we come together and not everybody, but enough of us to force it. And it can't be within the Democratic or Republican Party.
Right. Well, politics isn't the answer.
Yeah, politics is not the answer. Organization, mobilization, and intellectual, psychological, cultural warfare is necessary.
Now, I got a statement by Brother Al from the chat room. The boule is killing reparations. Do you agree with that? The efforts for reparations?
Yes.
And so, do you think the problem is that the boule realizes that they have it better as far as they're not like collectively by no means, but by their own personal standards underneath the present system than a system where all is treated equal and fairly?
The boule is in a lot of trouble. If you look at all the black colleges that are closing, the numbers stick up. The boule, the Pentagon or the many Pentagons of the boule are the black colleges, which are in trouble. Okay? Each time one of those things closes down, it diminishes their power. The boule will die. It has to. And we have to make it our business to destroy the boule. The day that black people have zero tolerance for traitors, no matter if you're Beyonce or Jay-Z, whoever, if you betray black people, you're an enemy. I'm telling you, sister, you ain't be able to do and ask him, are you going to support reparations? And he says, no, you make him withdraw. I see a whole lot of people start supporting reparations. I'm supporting reparations, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. I've been in a situation where we hijacked the government at the divinity school at Harvard because they were running a coup, and we stole the election. I stole it because you can't trust coons. They will not do. We need a dictatorship of black people until we can have democracy, because if we give most black people a choice, they would opt to be white.
Well, I got another.
So we need a dictatorship to take out the boule. In fact, let me share something with you. If a black organization that's not below ground, an underground organization that wage war against the boule would help free black people. Something as basic as folks wanted to do research and publish stuff on folks in the boule that's black, with an intelligence arm as well as a defense wing, would change stuff. For example, you heard that he's deceased now, so his name is he's in Atlanta, Georgia. Why did his name just jump out of my mind? Dixon. His last name's Dixon. He used to write for Black Agenda Report. And Dixon was saying to me that 12 years ago, John Lewis was going to come out, and this is what he said. Mr. Dixon alleged to me that John Lewis was tired of hiding in the closet. He was going to come out and just let everybody know he was gay. And a whole bunch of gay preachers in Atlanta came and said, Joe, you can't do this. Then this is going to bring us all down. That's about the way. And you have to stay in the corner. I wanted to have a wig on when they said that to her. You know, you have to stay in the closet and say this because this will hurt the whole movement, right?
Right.
There are people that know this. Bruce Dixon is his name. There are people that know that this dude is a chump and he's a traitor on sexuality and everything else to our people, and he's protected. People have pictures, information. There should be a website, a portal, with everything that you need to know about anyone that betrays the community. I'm not talking about a witch hunting issue. You just have to like stuff big or pooch or sacote. You're a woman. You have the right to your own private life. But if you've done something to betray the people, like if you're in charge of school lunches in the state of Alabama and you stole food from hungry black kids, we destroy this person. We make an example of him. That person has a stroke or a heart attack and the church is afraid to have a funeral. We don't want our churches to burn there. That person has to take that thing to Utah somewhere to have a funeral because people are so angry. We have to put the fear of black righteousness in the hearts of our traitors. I repeat, this is not like a diet where you count calories or where I'm counting the faults of a person. I don't really care that much about people's private lives. But if what you do in your private life, whether it's greed or some pervert thing, makes all of us suffer, like in the book of Joshua, where they took out a whole family that betrayed the nation for a few trinkets and a payoff to one family, they did the whole family. You know the story. That's the Bible I read. I don't read the Bible for who we forgive everyone no matter what they do to us. Where did that come from? Slavery. Slavery. I don't forgive everything. Let God forgive them. God, I'm a person. One of my faults is I'm not going to forgive folks that oppress my people for 400 or 500 years. I challenge anybody to read, particularly all the folks who call themselves Christians, read the story of when the Roman centurion had Simon Peter come and share with them about the Holy Ghost, the life of Christ. Simon Peter told the Romans, I don't even like you for it. I don't even want to be in the same building. This guy's full of Holy Ghost. I don't even like people like you. You could be saved. You could believe in God. It doesn't make you suck the feces out of the butthole of people who held you folks down. I don't need that kind of Christ. I don't need black Christians that think these white folks do this. It's being a Christian. That's being a slave. And the Bible says that you're free. The truth will make you free, and those that in Christ are free indeed. Then I'm free. I'm not for no slavery to anybody, not even the little coon preachers like T.D. Jakes, little bald-headed, double-life living crook.
Another question from the chat room, from K Jr. A question: should we write ADOS on the 2020 census for race/ethnicity? Would it matter?
No, it won't matter. And why would you want to put slave on there? I don't like the term slave because we got slaves now. We got slaves right now.
Right.
The people back then were enslaved. People in my family were involved in the Underground Railroad. They rejected the system. We're slaves now. We accept slavery. They rejected it. It's a dishonor to the people who got their balls cut off, or their breasts cut off, or got beat because they rejected the system. We're slaves. They were enslaved. I don't like the word descendant of slaves. You mean enslaved? A-does instead of A-dos. Enslaved. And I don't think that would make a difference. In fact, they might like that because you know what they'll do? no matter what we do, the census is a lie. First and foremost, the census has always been a lie. It will continue to be a lie. In fact, the lie will get bigger. In fact, part of what will happen when Trump wins again, people are going to have to admit that one of the reasons that the Democrats lost so badly is that there are far more black voters in the country than what they've been willing to acknowledge. If you see the Democrats rolling over playing dead like a dog in the park with the flea collar on, it's because 1/3 of the Democratic Party vote is black. 1 in 3. That means something. So if 50% of the vote in the country is Democratic and 50% is Republican and something else, something like that. It's in that range, right?
Right.
Then how many black voters are there? They say that 240 million voters in this country, 240 million people have the right to vote. That's what they say. If blacks make up 1/3 of the Democratic vote, the last time the black people voted for Obama, he had about 20 to 25 million black people voted for Obama, about 1/3, right?
Right.
25 million goes into 240 million 11 times with some left over. Forgive me, black people are more than 10% of the voter base in the country, okay? Because we're about 14-15% of the population.
Right.
Meaning that what? Let's do this again. There are 200 and what? Let's just change 230 million voters in the country. I'll take that for 240. Still, you can put in there 11 times. If blacks are 13, 14, in fact, they split off about 6-7 million blacks, a mix, whatever, from black folks. And then there are tens of millions of people passing in this country who know that they aren't white. So the actual number of black people in the country, nobody really knows. 60, I use the number 60, 70 because it's better than the number. I like it. It's bigger than the one they use. Let me give you an example to the person listening. In my entire life that I've been looking at the census at black population since I was about 9 years old, I'll just round up to 10. This is like 1975. The number of black people in Mississippi has remained 38 or 37% for 44 years. Do you believe that? Populations tend to go up or down, but just stay the same always. Have you been to Mississippi? If you go to someplace like Mississippi, let me just tell you, black folks are the majority in Jackson. Black folks are the majority in virtually all the population centers of Mississippi, plus in the rural areas of Mississippi. Fact. So then you ask yourself, if white people are like 62% of the or 63% of the population of Mississippi, other than Oxford and the redneck Riviera down on the coast, and even Biloxi has a big number of black people there. Everywhere you have a population center, black folks are about half. You've been all over Mississippi, I guess, Weaver.
Well,
and in the Delta, black folks are about 90%. There's a part of the state where black folks are like 90% of the population in one part of the state. And then in the other populations, they're everywhere. You've got them moving in on the corner near Memphis. They're moving there. So, but the numbers always the same, 37%. And they projected 2040, it'll be 37%. Who the hell thinks that? If white folks are dying like they say, why would the black population stay percentage-wise the same if their numbers decreasing? Why? Because the Census Bureau lies.
There it is.
And one of the things I hate about blacks and the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, these coons, They have no courage, no nuts, no balls, nothing ever to say, we want to know how many blacks in this country. Before you can pay reparations, don't you have to know how many people have to get paid?
Right.
How many people, they haven't even done rudimentary work. Where do black people live? How many of them? This is the kind of work that you would never get, but you should. And the devil's in the Congressional Black Caucus because they're against this stuff. They don't want this. They don't want it. We should know how many people. If you watched the news yesterday, crooked-ass Governor DeSantis in Florida just said that people who got the right to vote or before they could get the right to vote as felons, they had to pay all their court costs. Why is he I mean, the whole country's for Florida and everything. This dude's doing everything he can. Who do you think the majority of those 1.7 million people who are reenfranchised were?
Black?
They're black men. If it's half, and it's probably more than half, typically in the country, black folks run about half or more. In Florida, I'm certain it's more than half. If the population of Florida, if they said in Florida there were 2.2 million black voters who couldn't vote, and there's 1 million black men who could not vote, and you know that black men don't outnumber black women. When you start messing with that, they'll tell you the population of Florida is only like 15-16% black. But they're like, what, 17, maybe 20 million people in the state of Florida. Okay? We're somewhere between 16 to 20 million people or more. Let's just say 20 to be safe. Let's do this real fast. If you've got 2-3 million black voters in the state of Florida, those are people of the age to vote. Maybe about a third of that number are people under the age of 18. And if you had 1 million people that couldn't vote, you add that. The number starts getting weird because if there are 20 million people and there are 5 million people who are black in the state of Florida, that makes you, what, 20% versus 16 or 13, right?
Right.
And it's more than that. These people lie. They've been lying for 400 or 500 years.
Why stop now?
We won't even call white folks on their line. When folks say the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery, look. I was a graduate student, the only black person in the program at UVA, the intellectual Harvard of the South. And I told slavery, of course it had something to do with slavery. I don't care if everybody argue with me. These black folks sub us out by not demanding. In fact, we should have DNA tests all over the country. In fact, that would scare the country. You know why?
Why?
Almost 100% of white people in this country a long time have black ancestry. They may want reparations too. That would definitely break the bank. And so we're gonna have to have rules and regulations over who gets it.
Maybe more than one drop. 2 drop rule.
No. We need to have a 10 drop rule.
10 drop.
You're not 10% black. You can't get. Only go and marry somebody black. Maybe they can get it for you. We have to. The world is ours. Look, Alabama. Remember, I have a buddy. Y'all all gonna get mad at me. I want the white dude that they accuse of pedophilia to be the next senator from Alabama, because that would just destroy. He's enemies to that dude from Kentucky. The one that looks like Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, but with the bigger turkey neck, Mitch McConnell. Let me tell you something. Alabama, remember, if you go to Alabama, if you look at the map, I challenge anyone. And Alabama has exactly 1 black representative. I think they have 9 representatives in Congress, and only one of them is black. 1.
Damn.
No. And if you look at the Alabama census, they'll tell you about 19% of the people in Alabama are black. Like 1 in 5. Have you been to Birmingham? Have you been to Mobile? Have you been to Huntsville? Have you been to Tuscaloosa? Have you been to Dallas? You want to tell me that every fifth person you see in Alabama is black? Okay. And we accept this garbage.
Because we're prisoners of war and we have no power.
No, prisoners of war. I just read an article that there's a state in the United States where they couldn't afford to pay for assistant guards. So you know who runs the prison?
Who?
Run it. Yes, you can. Even in prison, you don't have total power over anyone unless you're ready to always use lethal force. That is a coward's way out to say we're prisoners. Prisoners can force and demand things, even in crazy situations. We don't try. And not a critical mass of us come together and try.
That is so true.
So 2 or 3 people who have heart, they don't even mind dying for sorry-ass black people, but can't find a 5th or 6th person, so they have to go by themselves. Well, my great-uncle went to try to prevent gay marriage in D.C. He told me, been in the ministry, my great-great-uncle started pastoring in D.C. in 1926. Right? That's almost 100 years ago. And continuously since 1926, someone or the other, and that specific branch of the family, has been doing church stuff on a major way. But out of all those years of service, they couldn't find 4 people to agree with him that a man and a woman are the ultimate form of family and the only form of family, because the people ran. And when you start looking at Malcolm X and everyone, black people have not been great courageous. All this pumping that we do in February is a lie. A lot of us have been chumps. We've been cowards. We've been selfish. We've only wanted to get for ourselves, damn everybody else. There have been some people who were willing, like Harriet Tubman, but couldn't even get people. This broad risked her life, walk 100, 200 miles through the woods, and she can't get a hearing for certain. You know what? I'm glad she had a pistol. I'm glad she put a pistol in the dude's mouth. I'll blow your black brains out, you piece of shit. All of us running away, and everything is you. This is a spiritual thing, and I'm saying to you, black cowardice is wicked. It's selfish. It's ungodly. It's Luciferian. It's as cowardly as a white dude who wants to go into a black church and shoot unarmed people. It's as cowardly as Negroes that didn't even ask him what was in his bag. You go into a black church with a bag, see if they don't ask you. That'll be one of the nosy, fat, butterball sisters that can't get a man would be all up in your bag. Oh, what's in your picnic basket? You got something? You have a chicken in there? I mean, they would want to know. I couldn't walk in there off the street with a big bag. They want to know, are you the caterer?
Oh no! Oh my God, that's messed up. Is there a chicken in there? I got hot sauce in my purse, like Sister Hillary Clinton. Oh my God!
And I brought condoms in case you're joining. Make it right.
Brother Al has a great point. Our immediate threat group is the LGBTQ. If they get it right, they have hijacked our movement and adopting rules for their betterment.
I agree. Well, look, I work with irritated genies. I collaborate with Straight Black Pride. I do my bit. Okay? I am the initial person to call black people to go to war with the Equality Act. I've done all I could as an individual. I've had people run from you, won't return your call, won't speak to you. Can't do it alone. There's a lot of black folks I've seen standing up. We can't find other people to be with you. And don't just, if you can't march, they should have sent us some money. I had one brother give me like $200. I'm so glad he did. I needed it. But I used that to help push this other thing. launched the national campaign with less than $1,000 against people. And these people had 130 major companies that represent $3 trillion in sales. And we tried to fight them with $1,500.
Damn.
Well, we initially got it out there. We scared the hell out of them with $1,500. You can't beat them if you won't put. Now, I need to tell you, Brother Pat, Saturday before last Saturday, a week ago today, a week and 4.5 hours ago, I was in the mother church of the Way of the Cross Church of Christ International, church started by my great-great-uncle. And Bishop Alfonso Brooks, the presiding bishop, archbishop for the church, told us that the black mega churches in the D.C. area were threatening and bullying the pastors, demanding that they all support same-sex marriage. They're going to be a part of allowing these people's tax exempt status to be taken away from them. They'll get with the gays against fellow black folk who are in the ministry. This is the kind of treason that I'm telling you, and I am not advocating violence, but I'm telling you, when this kind of material happens in other places, folks get shot and killed and beaten. They won't take it. They won't stand for it. So a minister, the same kind of minister that can't say anything when the police kill people, innocent people, is threatening other people that they have to support gay marriage in the black church. So the black leadership in the churches has joined the gay movement. The black clergy in America is a gay movement.
Well, I mean, I would suspect many of them are bisexual and gay as well.
And look, well, to me, or you're bisexual, B-U-Y sexual. You can be bought. These Negroes got this.
Bisexual, damn. Just call them prostitutes and whores.
They are, but you know what? I have more respect for a whore or a prostitute than a stripper, ride the pole, climb up the pole with their coochie lips. I mean, amazing people
Like a
to feed some hungry children because she doesn't know any other way. Even if I don't like what she's doing, she's trying to feed her kids because she doesn't want to respond. I respect more than prostitutes.
Nope. You just dropped off really low again. You still there, Doctor?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap
What
up.
I said to you is I respect whores too much and prostitutes too much to compare them to these sorry preachers. These preachers, I respect them more. I mean, in fact, you know what? If you give a whole $50 for a blowjob, they'll do it. You pay a preacher for 50 years as a member, and they can't visit you in the hospital or officiate your funeral.
Oh.
I mean, I'm talking about the biggest scammers of all times. And I'm not saying all, but there's too many of them. And until today, the same way, my buddy down in Alabama, she's a niece of E.D. Nixon, the one who threatened the little coon preachers in Alabama, in Montgomery, Alabama, when Rosa Parks was arrested. Because these preachers didn't want to do anything. Throw the woman in jail, give her a criminal record when she's sitting in an appropriate seat. These people who had collected the money for almost a century of black people didn't want to risk anything, these dogs. And until people get in, they're telling folks to get in black politicians' faces. Folks need to get in preachers' faces. Scream at them. Tell them off.
Well, but the way the church membership is going, Doctor, we don't even have to worry about that in 15 years.
Yeah, but the problem is they only need a couple of years to do the Holocaust for the Jews, and they were organized. How long do you think it take to roll out?
Oh, with automation and trains and that, not long at all.
No, all they have to do is put some kind of biological thing up white women's coochies and let them loose in the black neighborhood, all the stupid black men. When I was living in Jackson, Tennessee, there was a white woman whore who used to walk up and down Lane Avenue with no clothes on through the black neighborhood. And man, the black dudes would just quiver. Oh, it's about 12 o'clock. Oh, let me get to the front porch. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Right on, King Jesus. Oh.
Why was she not stopped or raped?
No, she was safe. Nobody, black men, they're not going to rape her because it's a white woman. Black men are chumps. Would never touch a white woman. Rape a black woman and selling Girl Scout cookies. They would never touch a white woman walking black men because they really fun. We're cowards. We don't want to do the time for the crimes that we do. And forgive me, we went off on this tangent. I just want to talk about Kamala. Did you see that debate?
No, I missed it. I've been working a lot.
Oh my God. Kamala, I'm serious. She's got more turkey neck than Purdue, okay? They say black don't crack. Well, she must not be black. She's cracked. She jumped on Biden, and it was kind of cool. But then she threw the Equality Act and that it needs to be passed. It was all. It was just sad. As I said, Trump's going to win. I'm just hoping that black people are really, really angry. I'm hoping after Trump wins, black folks say.
But there's a lot of black folks who aren't angry with Trump, though. There's a lot of black folks who love him.
I'm not angry at Trump. I'm angry at sellout black people. Trump is a wealthy white man who's been doing whatever his family's been doing. They're going to always do what they do. I don't like oppression or injustice, but it's like expecting Germans not to goose step or whatever. Okay, that's them. What do we do? What do we want? And I believe when Trump wins again, so many black folk are going to be so mad and disgusted. But I do think that the black voter turnout is going to be very low next year. Because when people really find out who Biden is, and they find out how racist he is and how sick he is, and he can be a Jesse Jackass's push. It should be called pushover. That's not going to help you. And it's rumored that he's going to run with that dyke, Lori Lightfoot, the one that looks like Olivia Spencer from The Help, the one with the pie with the doo-doo in it.
Elizabeth Warren? Or the chick from Chicago?
Olivia Spencer, the one in the movie The Shack.
Oh, okay.
The actress in that, she looks like she has a lazy eye, one of her eyes kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, Olivia Spencer looks just like the mayor of Chicago, except the mayor of Chicago, well, the only bush she knows what to do with is in her white lover's drawers. She doesn't know what to do with the hair on her head. Probably doesn't want to. It's a way to keep men away. They're talking about Biden possibly running with Lori Lightfoot, having a black woman as a vice presidential candidate.
Whoa, I never heard that. Hopefully that won't work.
Y'all get ready. Get ready. No, yes, you can get worse. She's awful. She's all the little coon Baptist preachers that stabbed the people in the back. She rejected them once she got in office, giving all the jobs to whites, Irish, and others, and leaving black people out. Dumbasses. This is why I don't respect certain black people. Now, I use profane language because they're profane people. I think Biden's going to run with her. And the thing that was really nice was the way that Booty Check, well, now they're saying Booty Judge. Well, I am judging his booty. Let's go directly to hell. Booty, go to hell. Did you see how the black people turned him out in South Bend? It should be South Bend over. Rename it for him. The way the black folks turned him out, it was lovely. And I was so happy. Now, I was just in love with black sisters. They redeemed themselves. Because I've been really angry about this disconnect between black men and black women, the way that they blow smoke up black women's asses and try, pour some pink champagne on their titties to make them think that they're better than black men and that they're cool and we like you black women. It's a black men we don't like, right? The kind of stupid stuff these little idiot black feminists are on. They are idiots. And they've been morally, ethically lobotomized by their little liberal friends. These sisters took booty check down. They checked that booty. I mean, those women, they told him, they went off. And they had this little butch who had like a fade cut trying to like run stuff. And his sister said, I like your hair. That's what we like. I'm like, get away from me. It was really cool the way this sister called him out. I think there's hope. I think that the Trump time is making a lot of black people snap in the right way. And I really like the sister. There was a big sister, telling you, the kind that, servers are afraid walk into the all-you-can-eat places because, they're probably going to have meat dome filled for weeks carrying out trays of food. This big chunky sister, she went in on the guy from the NAACP, which, of course, is the National Association for Asinine Colored People. This sister broke down the NAACP was a fraud on national television. Oh my God. I was like, where are these sisters, the ones that fight and stand up, that, don't want to look like a man and aren't trying to they were just sisters in there. They broke his ass. The old sister that said she wasn't going to vote for him. You didn't see that when they went. This was so. These are the kind of black women you see in the eyes on the prize. I got to praise these sisters, man. That was my week, watching these black women tear this racist dude down, tear the chief of police down. It was beautiful. Now, my week was ruined by Kamala, but she's not really black American, so I don't hold that. The sisters were just, until you see the people go on a booty check, these black women just dogged him. They just dogged him. I mean, dude didn't even have anything to say. He thought they were going to come up on stage and just beat his ass like Minister Society. Remember they stopped the guy in front of his grandparents' welfare Section 8 project apartment. But he stopped it. Those sisters crushed booty check. It was so good. In fact, that brother that asked the question about LGBTQ, the answer, the key thing that has to happen in resisting the LGBTQ movement, I'm going to say this and I don't care who gets mad at me. Black women are going to have to decide that black men can't be black women and white men can't be black women. Black women have to stand on the fact that they're women and they shouldn't want to be men. Because if the sisters stand on what it is that they know, that they're women, and no longer have alliances, you need to ally yourself with the black man that's for real. Stop allying yourselves. When I go places and I notice this, they'll have all these diverse people, and the diversity for black folks will always be a black female. They never have a black man there. Sisters need to start asking, why aren't there any black men here? Because I go places, and if a woman's not there, folks yell at me like I'm sexist, even if I didn't pick the panel. Why am I responsible for stuff? Why is it the same thing? Yeah, we need to start looking. We need to be advocates for each other. Black men have to advocate for black women, and black women have to advocate for black men, and for black children we have to advocate for each other, and we have to be honest. I like Romans 3. All have sinned and come short. Not black men have sinned and come short. Not black women have sinned and come short. Not black youth, not black seniors, but all of us have some work to do on ourselves to get to where we need to be. Right. Everybody's short. But if we come together, says now let us reason, we can sit down and really talk to each other and hear each other. Don't be in control. Stop being a social hermaphrodite if you're a woman, and stop being metrosexual. and so sensitive as a black man with you got on clear nail polish, your nails are better than Beyonce's. Don't stop competing. Drive in your lane. Get in the testosterone lane and let her get in the estrogen lane.
It works better.
We can beat them. They're already beaten. The biggest thing is that if you look at it, the major apologists for the LGBTQ movement in our community are oftentimes, no disrespect, again, sisters. Black Lives Matter is not gay black men leading it, although they do have that little grotesque roasty toasty.
Roasty toasty.
Yeah, roasty toasty. What's his name? DeRay McKesney look like stuff that's in the bottom of your toasters that the roaches eat. Well, it's worse. It's worse than roaches. He has a white boyfriend who owns one of the owners of Twitter, and he'd probably tweet him, and he's been tweeted a whole lot. Anyway, and so with a little plastic jacket on, it's probably full of condoms and all this stuff, so white guys can get him. He looks like the kind of dudes you go to elite school to school all the white athletes and snitch out the black people. Yeah, it's true. You went to these little schools. You see what I'm saying? I'm only telling you what is real. Yeah, I'm going to talk bad about it. Yes, I'm going to talk bad about this punk ass. He's the one that helped get Darren Seals in his ruin. He was up there throwing all this money around, turning out young boys, getting them to do nasty stuff because he's in the queer theory. But the face of this black is the new gay thing. And the women that were promoting it, their little sister who had the nose ring that looked like, what's that thing? This is like a little dinosaur with wings cartoon that comes on. I forget the name of it. I'll do better. Remember the movie Pete's Dragon?
Yeah.
The sister that leads Black Lives Matter looks like the thing on Pete's Dragon with the nose ring. Her heteronormative thought. Sisters have to begin to hold sisters accountable. You can't pretend that black men have all the power in the community. That's garbage. Black women are the majority of the people in college. The majority of the people who are getting degrees are the majority of the people that have jobs. How can everything be the man's fault if white supremacy advantages you over your men and you're still looking? First of all, you don't like the traditional system, and yet when it comes to accountability, you go back to the traditional system. You like going back and forth. It's double-minded. To whom much is given, much is required. If you're 75% of the college students, 75% of the struggle needs to come from you. You're the one that's not locked up in jail. Sorry. We have to. Do I think black men need to step up? Hell yeah. If they're locked up, they can't do it. And by the way, one of the things that the sisters could do, because they're the ones paying all these crooked preachers, you go to church, right across the street from the church, there's like a basketball court with 900 black men waiting their turn to play in the court. You go to church and there are like 2,000 black women and like 10 black men, and they probably all gay or have gloves on and jerry curls. Sisters are funding our downfall because it's good to them. The stupid stuff in the church, the emotional bullshit in the church is good to them. We've got to get out of it.
But that goes back to that one statement I made earlier by the sisters probably believe that they're better off underneath the present system than a system where strong black brothers are running it.
Well, you know what?
As far as their personal freedom.
Well, we have a matriarchy now that the government put in place. Right? They ran the black men out of the home, so sisters are already the system that they control. You got more rape, more pedophilia, more abuse, more drugs. I mean, if black female governance is the answer, black female governance by itself is the only answer, we're damned. We need a partnership. And I'm not talking about kicking women out of leadership. You didn't hear me say that. I said sharing it. Now, if you don't want to share, like these certain loudmouth sisters, big mouth, got a million opinions and no facts to go with them. No, I don't want anyone like that running anything. In fact, they're the same ones who don't know who to open and close their legs for, since you have all these kids everywhere. Or they're killing babies thinking it's like, getting another pack of bubble gum. We've got to get real. And killing a baby is not like having a bowel movement or getting a pedicure or an enema. It's just like getting an enema for my vagina. No, you killed somebody, and it damages you. And you have memories of flashback. And if you don't have any thoughts of having terminated life, it's because you're a sociopath.
And there's a lot of them.
Oh my God, they're everywhere. So that's one of my questions for any female I like. I want to know if they've ever killed a baby.
Well, you better trust that they don't lie.
Well, no. The point is no. I can look at their face and tell if they lied. If you terminate the pregnancy, So
and everybody should ask that question. Sir, you don't want to mate with no chick that don't want to suck it up if a baby's coming.
Yep. If you hate children, I don't. That's why else am I getting with you? I'd like to at least have some.
Right.
So if I tell all the brothers, if she's killed a baby, she probably can't love you.
She'll kill you.
Unless unless she has repented, gotten right, acknowledged what happened.
Well,
this is a conversation. I know all the feminists. I'm gonna be on the most wanted list.
You know it.
Make all drive. No, we have to destroy feminism. Has to be purged from the lives of Black people. In fact, they're lucky I don't have a mega church because I'd have big feminist book burn. Just come and burn all your books, of course. I'll be setting on fire for you. Here, see, I get a little bring your porn. Bring all your Hagen. What's that little idiot? The LGBTQ.
The little anti-gun guy.
He's anti-God, anti-straight too. All the stuff just set it all on fire. Just burn it. You want to scare people? You want to scare people? Have Black folks start turning. We're gonna burn all our porn magazines. We're gonna burn this. These people got rich. The power that Black people have and coming out of their prodigality from God and their ancestors, and they ignore stuff. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but Frederick Douglass was an elder in the AME Zion Church, as was Harriet Tubman. All these folks are hardcore religious people, but they had an active faith for liberating their people. If you don't see them trying to do something to stop the oppression of your people, they don't believe in no God. And I don't care what religion that is. And if they're always raising money, selling stuff, food or publications, and you can't see any meaningful community services that they're providing. I'm talking about free of charge. I'm not talking about what you get paid for. So if you have a security company with a government contract, that might be a service, but you're paid for it. And who paid you? The government. That means you work for the government. What does that mean? It means you work for the government. You're not working for Black people. If you're able to somehow make the government service serve Black people, that's okay. You understand what I'm hitting at.
Right.
In fact, if you can fly to other countries, why don't you fly to Flint?
I got one final question from the chat room from Brother Albert. Then we got to wrap this thing up, Yao. I got to make some food. Ask Dr. Short why they not tell us about all the earthquakes happening on the East Coast, I think, or West Coast, the last 2 months. How long with harsh weather and volcanoes coming alive? Alone.
The volcanoes, that stuff is going to impact the weather. It depends on what you read. Understand, this volcanic action has increased over the last 3-4 years since I've been watching it. Actually, I've been watching it for 10. This is happening. Certain things in the earth are changing, like the ice melting in Greenland. I mean, these things happen. The earth can heal itself. Now, I'm wondering if they told you that they found one of the largest aquifers of clean water in the world. It's just off the east coast of the United States. Meaning that there's lots of fresh water, and we don't have to have poison water with fluoride lead.
Of course we do, doctor. We'd have to dumb us down some way.
Yeah, hormones and other stuff. So the public is to be kept dumb. It's never to be given anything that is weighty or gives a major concern or so forth. In fact, when this brother mentions earthquakes, which we do have on the East Coast now, it's picked up, and tornadoes, all kinds of weather and that, I think they're not talking about it because aside from keeping people dumb, there was a gentleman that was talking about a flood or something that they saw, and they mentioned, wow, this looks like something out of the Bible, and the man got censored and was denounced for only giving a description. He said it was from the Bible. We have a group of people who want to deny that there is a creator, that we're created beings.
Right.
And therefore, anything that points to something being greater than the own Olympic white male power, then they need to make it a secret. Whether it's black folks doing all these inventions that they take credit for, or all the music, anything that doesn't allow them to play out like they are God, they shut down. It's a psychological defense, because the only people that really believe in white supremacy are coons and white women. White men understand what's necessary to maintain a superior position, but if you really believe in supremacy, you don't poison the water, poison the air, do all this. You don't create all these barriers to entry, because if you're superior, you just know it happens. You know, if you're a singer, or if you have anything that you're really good at, sport, you will go up against anyone because you're so confident in your ability to perform. It is a person that is not confident, that's insecure, like homeland insecurity. These people know what they're saying ain't true. They know it's a fraud. So what you do, like they got tired of their kids not being able to get into college on athletic scholarships, then you raise the bar to throw blacks out of school so your sorry kids can play. Because it's not whether the best athlete or not, we just, right?
Right.
Every time that they get confronted with something, if you look at them in Iran, they're afraid the Iranians should probably already have a nuclear weapon. That Trump wants to go to North Korea because they have a nuclear weapon. Anything that would cut people down to size to just being another human being in a struggle where things might be even Steven. And then you understand the people who've stolen and expropriated and oppressed know that they have stuff coming to them. Do everything they can to avoid having to be accountable or being shown up. And so all of this stuff that they're doing, they're letting people come to the country that can't read, that can't write, that have rape, that have disease, all of this to punish black people as if we're fighting them. They're the ones killing us. And they're committing suicide in tremendous numbers. My brother, they don't talk enough about the fact that now black men and white men live literally the same length of time in America. This has changed in 10 years. And if it continues like this, black men will live longer than white men in this country in 10 years. That's without an increase in income or wealth. White men will continue to die early. There's no end in sight to this opioid problem. All this marijuana that they're leading them to think that they'll be billionaires without recognizing
The damage it
multinational
caused.
corporations are not going to accept all these people having cottage industries with cannabinoids. They're going to get it, and they're going to make stronger stuff to kill people. And the folks who have the most money and the folks who have the most dollars are white. Will they kill their own? Do they care about anybody? The answer is, I don't think these super rich people care about anyone. No one matters. Blacks are a drop in the bucket. So when you look at this weather, I think it's a judgment from God. But the scriptures say that people deny the existence of God in Romans 1. There is no such thing as God. There's no, in fact, these people think that they are God.
Right.
In fact, but that little ugly, impish-looking broad, the one that looks like a weasel with the red wig on, Shirley MacLaine, that they have those I am God and New Age. Everyone's a God, as long as they're not black. And so this God complex thing is compensatory. Now, there are people that say they're God, the little stupid Negroes who wear all the odd jewelry and stuff, and use body oil but don't like deodorant, which might make sense because the aluminum stuff is bad for you. The same way that black folks compensate for being conquered by claiming to be gods and taking all these names of Egyptians and so forth, whites are doing the same thing but for a different defensive psychological reason. And that is black folks want to be gods because they're down. And white folks are trying to be God because they see themselves going down. And the reaction to the reparations, like that little ugly, nasty broad that comes on Fox News, Abraham, who said we don't do redos and we conquered you and so forth, that she's so honest. These people recognize that this reparations movement is a direct threat to us being ruled directly by them. And they don't like it. And there was a question, well, what if the Indians ask? Well, damn it, they should ask. This isn't yours. If black people get reparations, they're going to have to pay everybody. They're going to have to pay the Vietnamese for destroying Vietnam. They're going to have to pay the Koreans for destroying Korea. They're going to have to pay for the CIA and all the people that killed in Congo and Haiti. And therefore, all of these things, the hurricanes and so forth, in fact, Louis Farrakhan back in 2011, and I don't quote Louis Farrakhan often, but Louis Farrakhan said something that I agree with. He said, when an empire is going down, God will send natural disasters. There'll be snow, rain, earthquakes, fire. And he sat down and ran down the stuff that would happen to America through nature, as God said he was sick and tired of white America's excesses. And he's also tired of the coons, who are the, basically, they're like the Redskin cheerleader squad. I'm sorry, the Cowboys cheerleaders, the Cowgirls. Coons, traitor black people, are the booster cheerleader squad for white supremacy. God don't like them either, and we shouldn't like them. And in fact, when people wake up, I'm going to stop here. In the book of Daniel, when Belshazzar, the last king of the Babylonian kingdom, decided to have a drunken orgy, and they're going to bust nuts and jizz in the holy vessels of God's temple. Yes, it's real. What happened? The people that they had written off on the periphery of their empire that they thought was scum, that were nothing, that were backwards, out of nowhere, out of all the time in history, never heard of them, these people got their shit together and took them down. Trust me, they're trying to take us down because they know they're going down. And that's why everything that would make us think or open our minds or discover the kind of righteous morality and indignation to come together and change our situation, they push the filthy music, the bad food, the crooked leaders, the fake religion, all of that to try to break the inevitable fall of the system. And by the way, nature, which is on God's schedule, is already ahead of us to say that something's got to change in this civilization, and soon, if not faster. And there's nothing that anyone can do. They can't bomb, shoot, murder, buy up, prejudice, clone their way out of going down when the Almighty gets tired of you.
Right. That's right.
I'm done, my brother. Put my cash app out there. Tell them I need some contributions. We're going to be testing the water to show that they poison the water in D.C. where black people live. I absolutely need some cash to put kids in the hands of some of my youth. They don't pay us. They don't give us any kind of budget. We're going to do it.
Tell the Cash App right now. If you can, I'm going to put it on the link. We'll put it on the description once this process, as long as YouTube allows this video.
Definitely.
But tell the people, Cash App,
Yeah.
your Cash App.
It's $ Doctor with the D, lowercase r, uppercase R, lowercase a, N-D-Y, uppercase S, lowercase H-O-R-T. So it's Dr. Randy Short. The D is capitalized, the R and the second name, first name is capitalized, and the S is capitalized. Yeah, we're trying to come up with a few hundred. Some other things are happening. I do want to say this, and I want to let you go. I want folks to pray for us. I'm trying to hook up something where we can get an independent to run for mayor of Detroit. We're going to smash the Democratic Party. We're going to free it. I want everybody to hear this word from me. The Democratic Party must die so black people can live.
Say that one more time, doctor, for the hard of hearing.
The Democratic Party must die so black folks can live.
There it is. It's always been like that, folks. Well, thank you, doctor. Thank you.
And check your text. I sent you the picture of Booker. Well, I like that Cory Booker. he probably picks his booty. You need to see him with this white dude on his back riding him. That dude like being up there too. You'll see it. It's just in your text. Don't blame me. I didn't make the video. You know how black folks punish people for information. We're the only folks that come, if you dare give me any more information, any more facts, you will regret it. We're the only people that don't like information. Say, why are we oppressed? Because they trained us to think that stupidity is knowledge, ignorance is knowledge, and knowledge you should be ashamed. Well, in fact, when they say that you're acting like you're white, what it means is for even black folks, only intelligent people can be white. Blacks can't be intelligent, so you can't be one of us. We should be very afraid of that mindset. It's an epidemic in our people, and there are a lot of very gifted black folks who've been alienated, rejected, who crossed over and became coons because they couldn't find a way to connect their own people because of our crazy, warped, backwards, degenerate, degraded mindset. So you hook this brother up. You got to have Dorothy on your show. She's got an addiction. Reach out to her. I don't have any, though. I'm sort of maxed out at the moment. I've got to figure out, but reach out to her. We're trying to keep her afloat. I'm overwhelmed with what we've had 6 deaths in 2 weeks. And that's a bit much on me right at the second. But thanks, brother. Please, we got to have another conversation. We got to talk about Biden and Kamala and all these other people, all this stuff going on. Holy Jesus.
Yes,
Holy
sir.
Jesus.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace, brother. Wow, Dr. Short. But I do want to end the show on this comment from Brother Al, which I agree full-heartedly. We don't need parties. We need progress for the multitudes. That's what it's all about right there. And if we can do that, we could build a nation that's truly strong. This has been TPIM SR Live. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. Thank you all for watching the show today. As always, live your life with integrity without hate, envy, or greed. Brothers and sisters, let's try. So desperately, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power. I'm out. And thank you, K Jr. Thank you. Peace.